Hey, all right. Welcome to the Tuesday show. My name's Ultra David.
And I'm James Chen. How's everybody going?
We're going to talk about some cool topics today.
Dude, it would have been cool if I brought Yipes and Combo Fiend to the house.
Actually, it would have been pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
But we didn't do that. Instead, we're going to talk about Summit of Power, which happened this past weekend. We're going to talk about E3 and Smash, of course.
Yes.
As well as other, I guess, our perceptions of it and other fighting game news or not news, depending on your perspective.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And, other stuff that's been going on. So anyway, let's start off with the Summit, which was this past weekend.
That's right. So, of course, Beyond the Summit is the group that has done all sorts of different esports events. And for the fighting game community, they had only previously done Smash stuff.
Yes.
They have only done Smash Brothers stuff before. This was the first time that they ventured into more of the FGC proper and did some Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yes.
And basically what they did, they had an election process or whatever. You know, they had voting process for people. So they invited some people. Other people were voted in. They all go to a house in California. They live there for 3 days. And they just play all sorts of games and craziness until the very last day, in which they have the official 32-man bracket, right? And the winner, and that's just a standard double elimination fighting game tournament.
Wait, was it 32?
That does sound off. It's 16.
I don't think it was 32.
It was 16.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 16.
It's like, dang, I don't think it was that many people.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so even before getting to the actual event itself, you brought up the voting, and at the time, many of us had problems with how that ran, because it was... the model was that you basically had to pay money. You had a sort of base number of votes, but beyond that, you had to pay money. You had to buy items on their store in order to get more votes. Effectively, you're paying for votes, right? And some people use that in a way that
eBay sniping.
Yeah, it was sniping, I guess. Right. So some players kind of just squeaked in at the very end in a couple situations. There were some angel investors who came down and like just to sort of last minute help people out.
But
that was criticized because it, I don't know, feels kind of gross. To me, it feels kind of gross. That said, part of the results of it was quite a lot of money. And after having watched it this weekend and having watched Smash stuff before, they really spend the money well.
Yes.
Honestly.
So I actually at E3 talked to one of the people who was at the summit, and I'm not, just to be protective, I'm not going to mention who it was, but they basically said that they were really taken care of that weekend, and all the players who made it there are going to be compensated for it, right? And they really did a great job there. The production, everything was great, and a lot of that was because they did gain that money.
For sure.
So that
directly,
they were able, And so as the result, the show was very good thanks to that. So, I mean, that maybe we should add that to the topics to talk about.
Fine.
Like,
that's good.
Could add this whole little side thing to the new segment, 50-50 matchup.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Okay, then I guess I'll save my whole spiel about it for later on.
Sure.
But that did rehabilitate the way that the voting worked in my eyes to some degree, at least. I still think it's kind of gross, but at least there is a clear benefit out of it.
Right.
So I super enjoyed it. I didn't watch all of it. I had to prepare for this big legal conference I can talk about later, I guess, yesterday.
You were like on their official Twitter too, right? There was that picture and you're sitting there in your shades. And
that's true.
You're looking pretty dapper there, so.
These shades.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, so I had to prepare for that. I couldn't watch all of it, but I watched a good amount.
Okay.
And everything that I watched, I thought was really cool. Everything was fun. So there's like the fun side of things.
I have the wrong thing highlighted.
So, okay. Yeah. There was the fun side of things. There was the serious tournament side of things. There was the sort of content video package side of things. And I thought that all of that was awesome.
Right. I mean,
and all of those aspects were among the best that I can recall in recent memory.
right. The Jenga match was amazing.
This I didn't see.
Okay, I saw the Jenga match was like Reynolds and Chris G versus Goichi and Kazunoko. They were like kind of on teams, but they were alternating. That was awesome. The Mafia, I know they played multiple nights, but the one that was on Saturday night was just the most epic thing ever. I tweeted out that if I ever need a murder solved, I'm hiring Chris Matrix free. Because that, man, Chris
I didn't
Matrix,
watch any of that, but that sounds like it was hilarious.
dude, Chris Matrix had the call-out of call-outs because... So the way that the game works is that you have a group of people. Some of them are mafia. Everyone else is townspeople, right? And you can vote. The townspeople can vote to lynch people if they suspect that they're mafia. But also the mafia will attempt to murder everybody every night, right? So everyone has their head down. They go, mafia, raise your head. The mafias raise their head, and they point to who they want to kill. They have to kind of agree to 2 people they kill, and they go down, and they keep going. There's a doctor who can save somebody, so he's like, who do you want to save? I'll save that person. If the mafia tried to kill him, he saves his life.
Oh.
Right? There's also...
But the doctor doesn't know that...
No, he doesn't know. Okay. He has to guess. There's a cop who can just be like, point to somebody, and then the moderator will tell him if he's mafia or not, right? But the thing about it is, the cop can't just be like, I found out he's mafia, because then if he's a cop... everyone knows he's a cop, the mafia are going to kill him. So he can't reveal he's a cop right away because it'll be too easy for the mafia to kill him off.
Does that matter?
Yeah, it would matter.
It matter.
And so basically they're just trying to do it until the mafia outnumbers the townsfolk or the townsfolk kill all the mafia, right? And so during the whole entire thing, Yipes, Chris G, and Sajam, spoilers, were the mafia. Well, it's not even a spoiler. You know it right away. But man, like Sajam was playing it so good because he was just like, wait, we need to do this, but this is too obvious. Like he was like straight up being like so, and you could see it in the chat. Everyone was like, Sajam IQ 200, Sajam big brain. Oh, he's so smart. He's playing this so good.
Did they know that he was mafia? The chat?
Yeah. Because when you're watching it, when they say mafia, raise your head up, and you just see everyone raise their head up. And Sajam he was on fire. Okay. And like seriously, like the townsfolk were getting beaten up left and right. Like they kept lynching people that were townspeople, and stuff. And
they're like trying to guess who mafia is, but they might kill one of them.
Yeah, so they're like, but they pass around a ball, everyone talks, and if you're too quiet, they're like, you're too quiet, I'm suspicious. Start talking, and and like everyone just kind of talks
Seems
around.
Like the opposite. Well, okay, anyway.
It's fun. It's actually really fun, but like, then just randomly out of nowhere, Chris Matrix is like, look, I'm telling you right now, I'm a townsperson. I am one of the best townspersons here. You don't want to get rid of me. Like, I'm not mafia. I promise you that. And right now, Sajam is playing it way too straight. He was like, this is exactly how I would play it if I was mafia.
Okay.
And then Yipes didn't say anything.
Okay.
So Sajam was like, well, blah, blah. He was trying to explain or whatever like that. And then like a few rounds passed by, and then Chris was just like, look, I'm going to tell you this right now. Yipes is my boy. And when I accuse Sajam, Yipes didn't back me up. So that means they're both mafia.
Okay.
And they were both mafia. It was like the most, like, you're sitting there watching, everyone in the chat was like, oh, towns are doomed. Like, they're dead, blah, blah, blah. As soon as Chris Matrix did it, everyone was like, oh my God, dude. It was amazing, dude. It was actually one of the, it was actually, for me, I think might have been one of the biggest highlights of that whole
really
weekend.
Funny. Okay,
so
yeah.
It was so good, dude.
All right. I mean, it sounds hilarious.
Yeah.
I've never played that game, but it sounds like a really fun.
Yeah. When I saw it, I didn't know what was going on. I actually looked it up just so I could figure out what was so I could follow along. And it's interesting because I didn't understand the strategy too. Because like the same thing, I was like, yeah, if there's a cop who can just find out, why does he just like how hard? But then if you know, then the mafia will kill him because you don't know who the mafia is, and they're gonna kill the cop because he's too powerful, right?
But what if you're the cop? So each night turn, he can ask if somebody is a mafia. Say he guesses right, and he picks at the first two people who are Mafia. Now he knows who they both are.
If he happens to get both of them, there's 3 of them, right?
Oh, okay.
But if he happens to get 2 of them, he can just be like, look, I know 2 of them. And actually, at one point in time, Angelic, who was the cop, did do that.
Okay, yeah, that makes
so
sense.
Partway through, he was like, all right, look, I'm just going to come right out. I'm the cop. He's innocent. He's innocent. He's innocent.
That makes sense.
Stuff like that. But he has to last long enough for that to make it
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, it was super fun. It was really cool. It was like, I saw it and I was like, man, I would love to play this, except if I got Mafia, I'd be done.
Would you?
I'd be dead so fast because I don't think I'd be able to. Dude, I wear my heart on my sleeve too much. I don't think I'd be able to survive that.
Yeah, I sort of am not sure if I think I'd be great at it or terrible at it.
And Lil
I think
Grease,
there's a really good chance.
Lil Grease, yes, absolutely. The one play that Sajam could have made is when Angelic said, "I'm a cop. He's innocent. He's innocent." Sajam could have went, "What the hell? I'm the cop."
Right, for sure, yeah.
Like everyone can lie like that, and that was the only play that Sajam probably could have done to have saved the game, but he didn't, and that was kind of the downfall at that point in time. But it was actually really. It's on their YouTube, so you can check it out if you get a chance. So
that's cool.
Yeah, exactly. James, are you Mafia? Nah.
I think there's a pretty good chance that I would just get killed. Just coming into it, people would be like, I'm not going to put up with David either way. I feel like I would just bring in, people would expect me to and I would just die. I feel like there's a good chance of
that happened to a couple of people. I think they killed Vineeth because they just all thought he would be useless whether he'd be Mafia or down.
Makes sense.
And Leffen apparently was really good in the night before in Mafia, and so the Mafia killed him right away.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
So
I don't think I'd survive.
Funny.
I feel like my only winning role would be Mafia. Anyway. Okay, that definitely sounds fun. But yeah, man.
But there was an actual fighting game tournament. Sorry.
Well,
sorry
no,
for the distraction.
it's totally cool. Well, I think
but it was part of it.
No, for sure. I think it's really cool to talk about it because what I like about it was that it's not just the tournament itself; it's the other things. So they had all of this. I didn't see the Jenga thing, but I guess that happened. They had a blindfolded challenge between Sonic Fox and Goichi.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, they were blindfolded, so they picked the characters that they thought that they could use in a blindfolded situation. Mm-hmm. So Sonic Fox picked Hit because he has half-screen buttons. You're just pressing buttons, right? Maybe it'll work out. And that was fun. I like that they do these extra things.
They had a
combo contest as well. Right. Yeah, Fender's had a combo where there were 7 perfect attacks in it from Cell. He just kept it going.
Yeah, I saw that one.
It was actually
I think it was a high fight clip.
Legit. Yeah. So I like that they have all those other things, and since they have 3 days and they only have so many players and they know who everybody's going to be in advance, they can do things like that. They can make the sick poster art of all of the players there.
Yeah.
There's all these extra things that they can do because of the format, and I really like that.
Dude, the Wonder Years clip.
The video production stuff was awesome. It was awesome.
I was so jealous of that because those are the kind of things that I've always wanted to do. Was be able to get people together and edit something like that. Yeah. I've had ideas in the past and I've just never been able to pull them off. So, that thing was actually super cool.
It was really funny. I thought it was awesome. They brought a bunch of commentators in, and I thought that they all did really well.
Yeah, even Tasty Steve showed up at the end.
Steve showed up at the end. That was awesome. But yeah, I mean, the way that they did it with 4 or even 5 people on commentary, sometimes it was a couple of players, not necessarily the established commentators there. And I thought that all of that made for a really interesting style of commentary because it's much more conversational and hangout style. We've done it a couple of times with 4 people. And it feels different. You try to make space for everybody, but in doing so, you don't have as much time to narrate or analyze necessarily. So you pick out individual moments and you're just a little more conversational. So I like that. I think that's a fun style. It's not a style that everything should have, but for this kind of event, I thought it made a ton of sense. So that was really good.
I really enjoyed hearing Leffen on commentary.
Yes.
He was that guy. You can just tell he's so analytical, and the way that he approaches games was really fascinating to hear him do that. And especially, similar to E-League this past weekend as well, when Justin got to do a bunch of analysis, also very good. So it's really cool to get that really high-level player analysis in there. So.
Like there were times when Nakio was on commentary, Lord Knight on commentary, and they did the same kind of thing. Very interesting stuff.
Right.
So I really liked all that.
We're talking about all these extra little things, but then there was the tournament.
The
actual tournament. Not only was, good for a tournament, but like it was just the results, the matches, everything. I mean, dude, I saw so many status from people going like, I don't even like Dragon Ball anymore, but that tournament was awesome. And then other people like, you know what, maybe I need to look at Dragon Ball again and stuff like that's the kind of tournament that it turned out to be,
I felt pretty bored with the game lately. I haven't played it in probably a month. And this event, I don't know that it rekindled that interest necessarily, but it made it so that I wanted to watch it. I don't feel like I need to play it. So,
right, yeah.
But
I mean, we only have enough time to play so many games.
I could make time. It's just, I just don't feel like I need to, or want to, I guess more accurately. But I really, really enjoyed watching it, and that, it at least kept that side of the game really interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because the actual matches were some of the best that I've seen in any game in a while.
Right.
They were super good matches. And the results were not what anybody expected. Anybody.
So far off.
Anybody.
In fact, the last weekend, we were just talking... The last week that we were doing the stream, we had talked about how Chris G was probably like third, fourth best in the world at the time,
Right.
Like,
we were saying that Sonic Fox and Goichi are clearly the number 1 and 2 in whatever order. And then after that, it's like Dogura and Goichi. Dogura and Chris G.
Yeah.
And then a couple other people, and then it's like 10, 15 players.
Right.
We were wrong.
But that's great, though.
That's great.
That's great. They just announced, I mean, this is probably in the FGC news, but we'll cover it here. They just announced the circuit for Dragon Ball. They said there's going to be a circuit and it's going to run from this time to next summer, basically, right? Maybe culminate in EVO 2019 or something like that. But whatever the situation, they finally have a world tour, right? And I just said, right in time for the world tour, we got the shakeup that we needed in this game, and now everybody is just like, all right, let's go. Let's
get to the results.
Yeah, absolutely.
So 16 players invited, were there anyway. 13th places were Echo Fox to Kill Sage with Adult Gohan, Goku Black, Android 16, Panaglobal Nakiel with Kid Buu, Cell Bardock, EG-NY Chris G with Bardock, Trunks, Vegeta, and CLN Yohozi with Gotenks, Kid Buu, Goku. The 9th places were EYU Cloud 805, Kid Buu, Adult Gohan, Goku Black, CAG Dogura, Kid Buu, Cell, Android 16, TSM Leffen, Android 21, Cell Vegeta, Lord Knight, Kid Buu, Cell, Android 16. And then you got the top 8. Pono Smoke, Kid Buu, Cell, Trunks, and Reynolds, Cell, Android 16. Gotenks were both 7th place. 5th places were GGP Kazunoko with Kid Buu, Adult Gohan, Yamcha, and Apology Man with Piccolo, Tien, and Goku. 4th was CAG Goichi with Cell, Bardock, Vegeta. 4th was CAG Goichi with Cell, Bardock, Vegeta. 3rd was CAG Fenrich with Cell, Bardock, Vegeta. 2nd was Echo Fox Sonic Fox with Cell, Kid Buu, Gotenks. And winner was Energy Hook Gang God. With Cell, Piccolo, Vegeta. Yeah, that's obviously not what anybody called going in. In a bunch of ways. Hook Gang God winning the whole thing was a big surprise. He's a good player, of course. He's done well at a lot of things, but nobody thought that he would beat Sonic Fox and Goichi and Fenrich, which is what he did.
Right.
He beat all 3 of those players. Yeah. That's amazing. And we'll talk about it a little bit more later on, but it's amazing that he's been playing such a short period of time in fighting game tournaments, offline ones, and has already this level of success. That is absurd.
It's crazy because Sonic Fox Goichi had to play each other for the 4th place match. I missed those winners brackets matches, so I was busy in part of Sunday, and I looked at it, Goichi, Sonic Fox, and the winner side of the bracket. I was like, everything was what I was expecting.
Sure, yeah.
Came back to the stream, and they were in loser's bracket, and I was like, what happened? And Hook Gang God beat Goichi.
Correct.
And Sonic Fox lost to Fenrich.
Correct.
And they were all saying it on commentary, the players, the commentators, and everything, that they were saying Hook Gang God was playing out of his mind. Like, he had never played that good.
Yeah.
And all of them were saying the one person he does not want to make it out of that loser's bracket is Sonic Fox, because he has never beat him. Like, a single set at NLBC. Like, he just can't beat him.
Yeah.
But then some of them were like, well, if he's going to win this is probably the way that he has to do it.
It's like the poetic way to do it.
And then Sonic Fox came in, again, in loser's bracket. He rematched with Fenrich. He bodied Fenrich.
He did.
The second time.
It's 3-0.
And then he came up against Hook Gang God, and he won the first set. And I thought to myself, okay, this is happening.
Yeah.
That, you know,
it was a 3-2 reset.
Right. But
Pretty
after
close.
he got the reset, I honestly didn't think Hook Gang God would be able to hold it together.
Same, dude. I thought for sure that Fox was about to win.
I'm not lying. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was just going to get bodied as soon as that reset happened, because then you're like, oh, God, 3-2 now. But he 3-0'd, right? If I'm not mistaken. He 3-0'd in that last set, and he took it.
Yeah, it was pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
It's quite a time. And as we mentioned last week or the week before, I don't know, Sonic Fox and Goichi had only lost to each other and their closest training partner, plus Chris G for Sonic Fox, in the entirety of Dragon Ball so far, in any tournament.
Right.
And that is crazy. So that then Sonic Fox this time lost to Fenrich, adding somebody else to the equation, and then Goichi lost to Hook Gang God, adding somebody else to the equation. That's pretty remarkable for that to happen both in the same event.
Yeah, And then, like I said, Hook Gang God taking it. And you know what? I thought one of the... Even though, like I said, I enjoyed the Mafia, I enjoyed the Jenga and everything like that, to me, the key moment of the entire tournament was right when Hook Gang God won. And you could see in the background all of the players charging out of the room, including Leffen and a whole bunch of guys, Nakil coming out, and they just like mobbed Hook Gang God and applauded him. And to me, I thought that was cool, because you rarely get to see the other pros be that hype and excited about somebody else winning. But to see all of them so happy for Hook Gang God, I thought was just a really, really cool moment. Also, the second coolest moment was in the background when Yipes beheaded Sonic Fox.
No, I didn't actually see it. No, I heard about it.
They're just showing Reynolds. He's just sitting at the station ready to play. You can see the door behind there, and you see Sonic Fox just standing there. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, like the sword wraps around his neck, and you just see him like pulls off and then he goes off camera. And then Yipes comes walking around the room with his like jacket pulled up, and he's got like the beanie on. And he's just holding Sonic Fox's like the fox head, and he just walks right past.
Okay.
So funny, because Yipes, the way he just looked when he walked out of the room, dude, was hilarious.
That's really funny.
Man.
Yeah, so for Fox, getting second place is unusual, of course. Same for Goichi getting fourth, even more unusual. Fenrich getting third is not like a big surprise necessarily, but not what I would have called, so that's pretty cool too. Both Piccolo users getting fifth place or above is interesting, and players like Dogura 9th and Chris G 13th, I think, are big surprises. Nakil getting 13th, I think, is a surprise. It's obviously a stacked event, but even still, I was surprised.
Oops, hang on, guys. Sorry. I'm going to throw this on stream just so other people can see it, because this is just hilarious, dude. I was dying. All right, let's do this. Okay, there we go. So you just see this here. Like, you don't even need sound for this.
Okay.
You just don't even need sound.
Oh, I see behind Reynolds. Back it up, because I only at the end saw what was going on.
Okay, look at and watch Goichi too afterwards.
Oh man, God. Okay.
Oh, that was hilarious, dude. I don't know. I thought that was funny. Oh, yipes.
So yeah, it was very interesting tournament results. Dogura getting 9th, I have to think, at least in part, is due to him having traveled extensively lately, having been to Combo Breaker and then E-League and then this.
Well,
So he's traveling a lot.
I heard also he drank a lot.
Okay.
I mean, that was the thing. They all had a really good time there and everything. So, but I mean, also what a lot of people were saying, like, I think it might have been Cloud or it was Reynolds or someone just like felt like they weren't playing well, and then they said like they just disappeared because they were upstairs playing for 4 hours straight and stuff, you know. So it was just.
I imagine everybody leveled up there, just playing each other constantly.
I think Leffen said that too. He was just like sitting in this room playing with all these people, just like he's like, I just have all these new ideas about the game and stuff, you know. So
very cool.
But honestly, I think the best thing about this event, you know, even from the commentator standpoint as well, was just that it just felt like what to me the FGC is, to you the FGC is, because we've done this all the time. You talked about Combo Breaker, how it just feels like the most like you're just hanging out with friends. Yeah. And that's kind of what the Summit of Power felt like. It just was like, you know, even though the commentators were there to be commentators, they were part of the Mafia. Yipe sitting there doing that thing to Sonic Fox.
Right,
you know,
right.
There's obviously a lot of backstory to that because of NLBC and everything like that. But, you know, it's just the atmosphere there of them all just having a good time and just hanging out with each other, watching Kazunoko and Goichi play Jenga of all things with Reynolds and Chris G, you know, like it was just cool to see those kind of interactions. And even like Chris Matrix was doing commentary for Jenga, but there was a rule that you can't use two hands at the same time. And so like some of the Goichi kept trying to do that, and Matrix was like, you can't use two hands. Eventually put on like a referee, like the Foot Locker shirt, and like walked over there, was like,
that's funny.
Like staring at dude, like the whole thing was just like, I loved seeing the interaction between the players, and to me that really represented what the fighting game community is about in a lot of ways, is that kind of friendly banter and that mutual respect. Just, I mean, there's obviously people who might not like each other, I don't know, but like the mutual respect of, you know, talent is there. So
makes sense.
You know,
it all seemed cool. It seemed like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh man.
All right. Anything else about?
It's not a real Foot Locker shirt that they're doing. Yeah. Anyways.
I'm not sure about this being in every community. For me, I would not want this to happen regularly because I think that it would be difficult to sustain financially, probably most significantly. Mm-hmm. And then I also wouldn't want it to get old. I think I think it's really cool to have it as like once a year or whatever the frequency is. I don't know. I think that'd be cool, but I wouldn't want it to happen more often than that. And that means that it's like tough to get every community involved, every sub genre.
Although someone did say that they want to see it for Tekken, and I was like, "Yo, that would be the Poke Chop show."
Yeah. I mean, in doing it, I feel like you have to think about which scene has the characters.
Bronson, Poke Chop, Eris.
That makes sense to me. Tekken seems like a good call to me.
Oh, I would be so excited.
Yeah,
it would be so awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I really wouldn't want it to get stale.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want to see like, oh, here's the next summit, here's the next summit, here's the next summit.
And I think it's a good point that KFC says that Dragon Ball is a perfect game because it's the melding of the scene. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It brings in everybody. You even just look at who was in this. You got players from Guilty Gear, everything, anime, Marvel, KOF, Melee, Street Fighter / everything. There's just a lot of different scenes involved, even in this. So
and you know, I was even that's another thing too, is that you can see that all the communities together make it that was some of the strength of it, right? And even Leffen afterwards, he was just like, this was an amazing event. I love the FGC. We could be stronger if we're together. And I was just like, yes. Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Leffen has been playing other fighting games for forever. You know, he was good in SF4. He was good in SF5 when he cared about it. So
he played Marvel.
He played Marvel.
Yeah,
he did play Marvel.
So it was really cool. So hopefully, like you said, it doesn't they don't beat a dead horse by doing it too much.
I don't think they would.
I think it would be cool to see it for some other games. And, you know, I don't even necessarily think that they need to do it for Street Fighter, because Street Fighter has enough publicity and the players already out there. You know what I mean? Like, we know Smug, we know Punk, we know Knuckle Dew. It would be cool to get, like, Poke Chop and Bronson and those guys into a house.
I think Tekken would be really good for it.
Yeah,
I could see that. Exactly. I think the NRS scene would be really good for it, too.
Yeah.
There's enough, there's enough beef.
You mean they'd be cooking a lot of steak, right? Yeah. They'd be cooking a lot of steak.
They'd be cooking each
other.
Hamburgers,
okay, that's what you mean. Oh, man. Okay.
Anyway, anything else about this?
No, like I said, I could gush about it a little bit more, but I really enjoyed it. Congratulations to the Beyond the Summit people. I mean, the only biased reason why I would like them to do a Street Fighter thing is just so I could maybe be a part of something like that, because it looked like fun, and I wish I was a part of that. You know what I mean? Like I saw it and I was like, I just want to hang out with these guys and just not be Mafia. So.
I'm pretty sure I would die in that. I feel like it'd be really fun to like think about, and I'd like have all these plans, and I come into it with like my game plan, and then somebody would kill me in like a second turn.
Right, because actually,
make sure
one of the townspeople is also a vigilante, and every night he can just choose to kill anybody.
Okay.
He could just randomly shoot someone, but he can only do it once. Oh. And the doctor can only save a person one time, so he can't keep saving the same person. So if you can't be like, I'm the cop, and then go save the cop, save the cop, save the cop, save the cop. Sense. And the vigilante can only shoot someone once, and Leffen shot Hook Gang God right away, but then he was killed the first night, so the vigilante just disappeared and Hook Gang God died. Leffen showed up in the chat, and they're like, why did you kill Hook Gang God, right? And he was like, because he told me I sucked. That's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, funny. What? How are you supposed to say vigilante?
Vigilante.
Oh, vigilante.
It's whatever. It's how Americans say it.
Symbiote.
It's fine.
Oh man. That's how you're supposed to say vigilante. Vigilante, right? I mean,
nah, I've never heard it said like that.
Really? That's so weird. Like. That's how I've heard it too.
I didn't think it was weird enough to point out, but I don't think I've heard it before.
Okay.
I don't think it matters either. So.
Okay. All right, enough of the Summit of Power.
Well, do you want to take a break and then come back and talk about E3 and Smash and all that stuff?
Yeah, sure, let's do that then. I guess we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about E3 and a lot of Smash news this morning.
Yes.
So, all right, be right back, guys. Oops, that was the wrong thing to click. There we go.
Hey, all right, welcome back to the show. So this week is E3, the Electronic Entertainment Expo.
Well done.
As it was once known, and nobody calls it at all anymore. I don't even know if that's still officially the name, to be honest. Anyway, it's this week. I literally haven't seen it. It's this week in Los Angeles, which is accessible to both of us. We both live in that area. And there has been news. So did you watch all of the press conferences?
I went back to catch up on the Microsoft one.
Okay.
I did not watch like the EA, the Square Enix, and all the other ones, right? Yeah, but I did watch the Sony PlayStation one, and I went back. I tried to wake up this morning to catch the Nintendo one, and I missed it.
Really?
I woke up just in time for the very end of it, and then when they posted it up onto, because it's always just a Nintendo Direct is their press conference. As soon as they posted it up on YouTube, I went back and watched the whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
So I did see it.
So I watched all of them. I missed the PlayStation 1 Live, but then watched it later that night.
Okay.
So EA I knew I wasn't going to care about because they just make games that aren't really my kind of thing. Like, I'm not that into sports video games. I meant to combine this shirt with this hat. Congrats to the Capitals for winning the Stanley Cup.
Nice.
Awesome.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't care about those kind of games. I don't really care about the Star Wars Battlefront games. Like, that just doesn't matter to me that much.
Dude, I will say one thing. My friend brought over Star Wars Battlefront, and I surprisingly really enjoy the space battles. Okay. They're super fun because they're so inconsequential. Okay. Like, you just play them and you're like, you died. Okay, come back. Oh, you died. You come back. And but it's fun because you're like flying. It's Star Wars, right? It's like, it's hard not to have fun in that. And it is team. And so it's literally like 30 on one side, 30 on the other side, and you're just trying to get one side is trying to accomplish a goal while the other side is just trying to kill as many of them as possible. It's weirdly enjoyable.
Okay, fair enough.
I have fun with that. So.
There is a Command and Conquer mobile game, which I signed up for. They said on the conference that you can go play it, but I tried to get it on the Android store, and all it says is that you can pre-order. So I did that, but it's free. So I don't know, maybe I should check my phone. Maybe it's on there now. I don't even know. And then I thought the Microsoft one was like fine. It's like mostly stuff that I am not personally that interested in. Yeah, I got the list of games.
Okay.
If you're into Halo or Gears or something like that, then I can see it being cool. You know, it's just not. I thought the Cyberpunk 2070. I heard the Cyberpunk trailer was cool. That seemed like a cool game that I might be interested in. Kingdom Hearts 3.
Did they really announce
cool.
the next Xbox console?
They talked a little bit about it.
Okay.
They didn't really go into it. But one thing that was nice about these and the other ones was that it was about games. You know, it wasn't. They weren't spending time like talking about so they mentioned Xbox, but they didn't like spend a lot of time. Here's all the specs and whatever. They didn't talk about crap people don't care about, like VR and whatever. Like they just there was a little bit of that, but for the most part, it was about games that presumably people care about. So I appreciated that if nothing else.
Yeah, there was the one thing about the Beyond Good and Evil 2 thing where they were gonna get like user-generated content like music and artwork to show up in the game, and it was being done by Hit Record, which is the company by Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh.
And they said that they were going to pay players and stuff like that, because at first it sounded like they were just going to milk them for free, but then some people found the fine print. It was like, here's $50,000 that we're going to divide amongst the people who create content, which basically means you get nothing for it and stuff like that. So there's definitely some Hit Record, that's what it is, yeah. So there's some people who are still a little wary about it, being worried that it feels like that they're taking advantage of people. So but we don't know enough details yet, I think. So
I thought that the Bethesda stuff seemed really good. I haven't played any of the Elder Scrolls games since, I don't know, maybe in this millennium. I'm not sure, to be honest. But they all seem like really cool games. So I don't know. That seems fine. I thought Devolver's thing was hilarious. Like, it's not that serious, but I thought that was cool. Ubisoft, I thought, had some interesting stuff. Star Fox stuff was cool. I don't play Assassin's Creed, but that everybody seemed interested in that. So. And then, what was it?
I didn't see the PC one, and I probably should have, because a lot of people are saying there's a lot of very interesting looking things in the PC gaming show.
I think that's accurate. Yeah, there was definitely some interesting looking stuff. I don't know that I'm going to play any of it. I feel like I've been saying that a lot. And then the PlayStation one was just like a weird experience.
Dude.
So, I mean, they ended up talking about a lot of games and stuff, but before that, where they opened up with the banjo dude, and then they had to, like, move
the people? Like, because they wanted to replicate the tent from the Last of Us trailer or something,
guess.
You know, it was really, really weird.
Very weird choice.
Yeah, and then they even had those weird interludes with, like, weird shape doing some music thing and going, whoa, and then they went to the next game. It was like the weirdest.
Yeah, and they had the guy playing the flute or whatever it was up there.
Flute or something.
There was just a lot of weird stuff. But the actual games that they showed, I thought, were.
I mean, look,
cool enough looking.
I'm just gonna say this. I'm so old man on this now. I'm literally that dude being like, you need to watch Gone with the Wind because like seriously, like. I am
You're not interested.
So underwhelmed. Like, every game that I looked at was so beautifully realistic. And then they crouched and they snuck up behind someone and murdered them. And then they shot someone with a bow and arrow from far away. Or they had some combat where they were fighting with the sword. And it was dark and it was gray and it was... I don't know. It's just everything looked like it was the same damn game all of a sudden. You know, I do
think there was a lot of that, especially when it came to the Microsoft show. I thought a lot of games ran together in my mind. I felt certainly there were some games on the PlayStation one that kind of ran together, but I thought some were unique enough looking. Like the Ghost of Tsushima one, I thought was like reasonably unique looking, and I guess I was gonna say Death Stranding is unique, but I guess what you're describing, you don't like the fact that he's like sneaking around or whatever.
Well, so the Ghost of Tsushima, what's it called? Tsushima was interesting until all of a sudden they were like, oh, let's creep up on the guards, and I was like, God damn it, you did it again. Death Stranding is actually super interesting to me because I have no idea what's going on.
Okay,
and it just looks like. And, you know, Kojima said that he wants to make the game so that it's a non-violent kind of game, that you don't involve, like, you're not... I don't think he wants you to, like, kill things, right? So what's weird is that every scene, his backpack had something different, was a different size. He had things... So it's like this weird collection...
Yeah. Well, no, you're a delivery man, it turns out.
But
that's what it made it seem
I guess people are calling it, you know, the new buzz term is, I guess, is the walking simulator, where it's just like...
That's kind of what it looked like.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know what else, because finally something happened towards the end, and then he died, and then it was like Death Stranding with Lindsay Wagner, and I was like, okay.
I'm not interested in it. I'm all for weird. That's fine with me. But it's the kind of weird where I'm just like kind of tired of it. It doesn't seem like kind of weird that would last me a game.
Yeah,
it's like 10 minutes of like,
and
okay.
And the other thing I'm tired of is cinematic footage trailer with weird, out of place background somber music that doesn't fit the environment.
Like, I don't remember.
I think it might have been Nier or one of them. It was just like every time, like all these. So Mad World was in that Gears of War commercial a long time ago, you know.
Oh, right.
And they did that super well, and it was cool at the time. It was artistic. Now everybody does it.
I see.
Everybody has like, here's this weird song that doesn't fit with the mood, because like it's like some song, like some folksy song while people are dying and killed. You know, it's like everybody seems to do that now. You know, and I'm just like,
I can picture that.
Please stop this kind of thing now. You know.
Yeah, one of the reasons that I thought Cyberpunk looked cool, as people are saying in the chat, was that it does look really unique.
About Cyberpunk, you mean? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it just looks unique.
Control looked kind of unique. I mean, it looked kind of the same as the other games, but at least you had these crazy powers where you're just like transforming anything. And to be honest with you, the thing I was probably most excited for, I mean, this was literally happened. I had the PlayStation on my laptop. I was sitting there, had it on there, and I had Third Strike training mode on. So I'm just sitting there practicing Dudley combos. And like during the PlayStation conference, and then all of a sudden there's like zombie coming up, and he's like chewing someone's neck and like pulling all the tendons, and I was just like, another zombie game here. Then shot, and it was Leon, and then I put down the joystick, and I was like, okay,
the remake,
and then it was Resident Evil 2 remake, and then I got super hyped. But see, it's nostalgia, right?
Of course,
it's not because, hey, brand new gameplay like a Katamari Damacy or a Shadow of Colossus kind of thing. It was literally because it's just like, I love Resident Evil 2.
Sure.
I love Resident Evil 4, and it's like they mixed them together like a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know what I mean? Like it looks so good.
And like obviously those games have a big hand in what current games look like. So if you don't know what it is and you just see it happen, and you're like, every game does that, but it does that because of Resident Evil in part anyway.
Exactly. So,
I thought so. I wasn't like super enthralled by most of what I saw, and I basically came into today, which was the Nintendo one, thinking as long as they don't have just some garbage, like it'll be cool. And I didn't think that they had garbage. I thought that the Smash Bros. Ultimate obviously is the one that I care about the most, but I thought that the Pokemon stuff looked cool. It's big news for them that they have Fortnite, and I read some people who were excited about the Demon Ex Machina. That seems cool. So
I mean, Nintendo.
But it wasn't a ton. Obviously,
it was just Smash Brothers. It was like,
it was basically Smash.
Here's filler, Smash.
Right.
That was it.
So even for Nintendo, it's not like they were like bombarding you as they have in some years past. Just sick new game, it wasn't like that.
Right.
So
I just imagine
don't know.
Captain America be like, Microsoft, you promote this kind of game. Sony, you do this. Nintendo, Smash. Sorry, Avengers reference there.
I thought the mecha game looked cool. And it's not. Anyway, I think it looks cool. But of course, as you said, the biggest thing for them was Smash.
Out of the big three, who do you think won?
I just think it was like not a great year in general. So for me, the game I care about the most is obviously Smash. So I guess Nintendo. But if you're somebody who is big into Gears or Halo, then you think Microsoft won. Right. And if you're somebody who's into The Last of Us 2, which definitely some people are, or Spider-Man or whatever, like I feel like it's much more about like which individual game that you are into. Whereas some years past, even if I don't think that like I'd be into playing a game necessarily, I can still recognize, like, all right, everybody's going to think that's sick, that's a big... And there's just game after game. That's happened some years. I don't think that happened this year.
Right. I mean, Spider-Man did look pretty cool.
It looked cool. Yeah.
But the thing is, they showed, like, what I'm assuming is the intro sequence, right? The whole intro sequence where they break out of the cell and everything like that. But the swinging already looked kind of promising.
Yeah.
And if you end up in a city and you can swing like you do in Spider-Man 2... and just swing around the city and ignore all the stupid kids who cannot hold on to their balloon and the people who are falling off buildings, because God, that happened a lot.
Really?
Because those are all like the little mini missions. You would just be swinging around, you'd hear this kid going, "My balloon!
Oh, boy.
My balloon!" So you try to catch the balloon out of the air and bring it back to him, or you'd hear, "Help! Help!" and someone's falling off the building. Dude, there are a lot of people falling off the building in that city. Yeah, but... I ignored them all because I just swung around the city. Literally, I would spend maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours just swinging. Like, I didn't even care what was going on in the game. Yeah. Like, it was just fun.
Sure, that makes sense.
If they can replicate that, and they've said that they keep looking at Spider-Man 2 for swinging inspiration, if they can replicate that, then... I will probably buy the game, and I will probably play that game. So,
you know what game I really have enjoyed doing that in? Is my cousin, my nephew, plays Lego Marvel.
Oh, yeah?
Is that what it's called? Okay. Marvel Legos or something like that? You know, it's the Lego version. And you can just kind of web around and sling around with Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
So he and I have definitely spent time just like swinging around.
Dude, yeah.
It's actually pretty fun.
It is cool. It is cool. Because they also did it in Spider-Man 2. They gave you a bunch of like different maneuvers you could do so that you could kind of do like really acrobatic things. And it was just really, really cool that they did that. So
yeah, Jump Force. Okay, I think that is actually a interesting game. You know, it's the game with all the anime.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. It's like the new Jump Superstars, basically, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So that definitely seems cool. I'd like to know more about it. How is it intended to be a competitive fighting game? I think that's up in the air.
I saw a little bit of it today at the Namco booth, but I didn't watch it a lot. So yeah.
From what I've heard, it's more of like a
party kind of game.
Well, maybe not. I don't know. I haven't heard about that. I just heard that it's more like the sort of like Naruto or previous Dragon Ball style games.
It's more like Dissidia kind of thing. That's how it kind of looked to me, a little bit like Dissidia. So yeah, a brawler arena. Yeah.
There you go. That's a way to put it.
But yeah, I mean, for the most part...
But that can be competitive. I don't know if it is going to be.
For the most part, I mean, obviously outside of Smash, there hasn't been too many things that's been piquing my interest. Now, obviously... the new Tetris game that's coming out. They announced a new Tetris game.
Oh, yeah?
But they called it the Tetris Effect because they said, like, Tetris has this ability to, like, cure depression and, like, do all these other things. And then when people are sleeping, all they just picture are blocks dropping in their head, which I can attest to because that literally cured my insomnia. At one point, right when I graduated from college, it took me a while to find a job, and I was stressing out about that. I couldn't fall asleep, and then I started playing Tetris the Grandmaster at the UCLA arcade that I was working at, and then I would just fall asleep because all I do was just picture blocks dropping in my head. But not only that, but it's made by Mizuguchi, I think that's his name, but he's the guy who did Rez, Luminous, Meteos, all those crazy music, like acid trippy kind of games and stuff like that, and that combination sounds like it has a lot of potential. That's cool. So yeah.
Before we talk about Smash, I would also like to address the lack of announcement of
that's right, yeah.
Mortal Kombat 11, which I am stoked about.
But what if they're saving it for EVO?
Yeah, it could be. It still seems unlikely to me that they would not stick to something like the previous schedule of every 2 years a new game comes out. They haven't said anything otherwise. I haven't heard or been told anything otherwise. So I just feel like that's so profitable for them. Like I'd be surprised if they changed it, especially if they changed that without like announcing hey, we're not going to have a thing. We're intending to support Injustice for the next, like, whatever year or something like that. Without that announcement, I feel like that's just not likely. But I'm really happy for now because I just want more time to play video games that I like before feeling like they're obsolete.
Right.
And it's of course possible to still play Injustice 2. It's just
the NRS community has a tendency.
Doesn't work that great. Especially with Injustice 1. You know, the NRS scene is comprised of Mortal Kombat fans and some other people. And there's a lot of people who are really in it for the Mortal Kombat.
Right.
And I don't know anybody who's in it, like, for the Injustice. Like, they'll play Injustice, but it's not like, we're stoked for Injustice.
Right.
It's the opposite. So, I don't expect that Injustice 2 is going to last much longer after the next game comes out.
I haven't seen anything about Mr. Wizard talking about that. Def Not Lex saying that in chat, basically saying that they're trying to. He wants to remove Melee because 3 would be too many. Dude,
yeah, he talked about it a little bit.
I think if this game is good enough, I think they should just take away all of them and just put this one game in there.
I think that Smash 4 is definitely gone, but I mean for sure, even Smash 4 people are saying that.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, I'm really happy personally to be able to play Injustice 2 for longer. I really like the game. That said, there are other people in the NRS scene who are in it for the Mortal Kombat or don't like Injustice that much. Even if they are not like huge MK fans in particular, they may not just like how Injustice 2 panned out, and they want the next game. So there's definitely a big chunk of the community that is upset to not have that announcement yet. I'm happy about it.
I will say this, though. A lot of people have actually been saying this, and this is a pretty crazy thing to say, but it feels like of all the individual companies, that it feels like Capcom is winning.
Maybe so.
Because Resident Evil 2 Remake looks amazing.
Yes.
And I just saw people saying, like, I was even talking to one of the Capcom reps. They're like, have you played it yet? I'm like, not yet. They're like, you just have to play it. You just have to play it. And I've seen some people say that they have played it and it's amazing. Devil May Cry 5 was announced. That was super good. Look, I'm a Mega Man fan.
Yeah, that's right.
And Mega Man 11 was at the show.
Right.
And the first trailer that came out, I saw it and I was just like, man.
Really?
Yeah, I just was like, I'm not looking forward to this because the physics looked weird, everything looked weird. They released a trailer recently and I was like, wait, this looks a little better. But, like, there's, like, this weird slowdown mechanic and stuff like that. And I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, are they putting that in there to make the game easier for beginners or whatever like that? I got to sit down and play it. And I'm so happy right now. Like, I am...
Oh, yeah, okay.
I am, like... It felt great.
Okay.
It felt great to play that because they did not skimp out on the difficulty, the physics of it, and everything like that felt really good. The new mechanics were implemented very easily to control. They even assigned a separate button to rush so that you don't have to switch weapons to call them and stuff like that. But they even kind of built the game around the concept that you have that slowdown mechanic. Like, there's this new enemy that basically has a wheel that goes around him. Like, it's a ring, but there's only one hole in it. And so you can shoot the Mega Buster through it, but sometimes it's hard to aim, and so you slow time down. There's also parts where, like, blocks are falling, and a gap is too long, and it's like, blocks. You gotta slow it down so you can jump on it to jump across. So they actually, like, are using the new mechanics really interesting, but it felt good, and the difficulty actually the difficulty felt good. The difficulty felt good. Like, I definitely died a bunch of times, and I was very happy about that. Like, I want my Mega Man game to destroy me that way. Sure. You know what I mean?
Shouldn't be a cakewalk.
I was very pleasantly happy with it.
Glad to hear it.
So it makes me, it's like a good thing and a bad thing. It's like, wow, look, Monster Hunter came out, and then, Devil May Cry, obviously everyone's excited about that. I've only played the first one, whatever.
Yeah, I don't mean to poo-poo it, I've never played it, so.
I mean, I've only played the first one, so I'm not all that into Devil May Cry 5, but RE Remake looks super good. Looks sick, Mega Man 11 looks super good, and then I'm just like, then I look at Cody's animations, and I'm like, why?
Okay.
Why?
So, did you it sounds like you went to the Capcom booth. Did
Yes.
you see or play with Cody?
So a bunch of people playing him. The person I saw play him most was Combo Fiend.
Oh, okay. That's
So
a good
Combo
one.
Fiend was just at the booth. He was playing against Sherry, and it was like his third game with Cody.
He was like the best already.
Well, he was super good. I mean, Sherry won the game.
Okay,
to be
sick.
fair,
All right.
to be fair, right? But
Was she playing Nikali or Cody?
Yeah, she was playing
Okay.
Nikali. She was playing Nikali, and then I saw him playing against Yipes, and then I saw him play against Vi's Blanca.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
The classic Vi versus Combo Fiend.
Yeah,
20 years
dude,
old.
trust me. I was just like watching that. I was like, ooh, you know,
Yeah.
like, but like, the game is like Cody. It's just hard to tell what his like distinct plan is yet because we're all still trying to figure him out. He looks kind of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I was talking to Peter about it, and I forgot who I was talking to about. But they were like, thought that the pipe might not be pipe might be broken, but it wasn't even that. And even like that part in the trailer where he throws the rock up and he hits it and it bounces up. I saw Combo Fiend miss the rock. Like you actually have to time the swing, and depending on how you hit it, I think it flies in different directions and stuff like that.
It's a timing thing.
Yeah, because I saw it definitely get hit straight.
I've seen that too.
Right,
I just figured
yeah.
it was 2 different button presses.
Yeah, but I definitely saw him swing and miss. Unless my eyes are just deceiving me because I'm
Interesting.
old.
I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure I saw that,
Okay.
right? So, I mean, he and I do understand that he is definitely more Final Fight based than he is Alpha 3 based.
Right.
And again, Alpha 3 was supposed to be Joe in the first place. It wasn't even supposed to be Cody.
so?
Yeah. So, he does look a little stiff, but I kind of appreciate it a little bit because I see what they're trying to go for. And even just like the little V-skill thing,
Yeah.
like you could do a lot of cool combos. Like you do crack kick into V-skill, and that actually is
really?
a cancel and a combo.
Oh, okay.
But like, I swear if I played him, I'm just going to play him like I did CVS2 Maki because I was just like 3 kicks everywhere.
Does it take life?
It takes a gray health. It gray health to yourself.
okay.
So yeah. So I think that would
Interesting.
I might just go crazy with it because it's invincible. You
Right.
can just throw it out in the middle of stuff.
Right. Yeah,
right?
I've seen
So-
that. Okay.
So there you go.
That's cool. Yeah, I like his V triggers look interesting.
Right.
Or at least the pipe one does.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, the stiffness is not something I have a problem with. It's the posing that I do have some. So like a lot of his moves look good, but then like you look at the ruffian kick and it's just like
A little weird.
when he
Agreed.
does especially
Yeah,
the
yeah.
low
The
one.
low one looks weird,
He just
sure.
kind of looks like he's like.
Yeah.
Instead of like in Alpha 3, you see him like stomp his foot and he just.
But even in Street Fighter 4 it was.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
And I will say I think his standing light kick is probably the worst animation in Street Fighter 5. Did you see it?
Yes, I did. Although
It's
I still
horrible.
think it's that, and maybe Sakura's crouching medium kick is pretty terrible too.
Sure. Also very bad. But I really feel it looks like Kotal or Katana down 3 in MKX. Just the little.
He's like rotating on the thing. Yeah. And they said that they.
Man, that's bad.
It's funny too because someone pointed out that it's supposed to maybe look like his standing medium kick from Alpha 3. But if you look at a standing medium kick, when he lifts up his leg, his whole body leans back.
Yeah.
And in
Different story.
Street Fighter 5, he's just.
It's just the leg.
Right.
Yeah, it's.
And I forgot to do it. I really wanted to put up a video of the Ministry of Silly Walks, because he looks just like that.
Okay. All right. I can see that.
I wanted to do that, and I forgot to, so there
I
you
can
go.
see that.
Yeah. Okay, Cammy's air throw was pretty awful, too.
Pretty awful.
So, yeah.
Pretty awful. Yeah, all right. There was also the DOA 6 announcement.
Yes, that's right.
That are live. It looks a little like maybe grittier, maybe like more take us seriously.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah, because they also covered up the girls a little bit more.
Yeah, but like
And,
just the general style, not that's obviously a big part of it, but the general art style looks like it's supposed to be like. I feel like it kind of reminds me of the difference between maybe like an MK9 and MKX, where the characters go from being, especially the female ones, go from just being like obvious sex symbols to being like characters, like believable people in a way.
Yeah, but they have that weird little close-up face punch thing, and like it definitely seems like they're trying to do some interesting things with it, and it makes me excited to see what the DOA team can do while making a game specifically like, hey, let's try to make a fighting game that's balanced and like esports and stuff like that. And I don't mean esports by like, let's make it esports friendly, but they just want to have it be a serious competitive fighting game.
I think that was what the intention was with the last game, and by accounts of friends of mine who played the game, they thought it was good. It's just that it retained the perception of being a joke, and it retained the look of it in many ways. So I don't like need to have a game where there's no boobs. That's, I feel like, a different story.
Right.
But it'd be nice to have characters be people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And,
is that a good way to put it?
Or
people can be sexy, but
or
like,
doing what Street Fighter V is doing and actually giving us the guys who are now super sexy.
Yeah,
because like what they're doing with Cody, just I love it, dude. It makes me so happy. I love what they're doing with Cody. I think that's funny. So.
I mean, I'll certainly try it out. I'll definitely try out the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I never have spent time with DOA, and I now know people who played DOA 5 and who played previous DOA games, but in the mid 2000s, I didn't know anybody who played Dead or Alive. Literally, after having traveled in and played in Southern California, Northern California, Washington, D.C., and sort of the general Eastern Seaboard, Paris and London, I never met anybody who played it.
Right.
So, competitively anyway. So that scene was like not... It existed. It was in fact on TV back in the mid 2000s in a way that no other fighting game was. I just never knew anybody who played it. So I'll try it out now that I do know some people, and see how it goes.
And even when DOA 5 came out, I remember we talked about it on the Ultra Chin Show. We never did a introduction to it that we did to all the other games.
Well, we haven't done that in a long time.
But that game, like I like the idea of it as a good introduction to 3D fighting games because it is a 3D fighting game, but it still plays very different. You know what I mean? It's not quite the same thing as like Virtua Fighter Tekken style of, oh, it's your turn, my turn, because this was just like everybody can counter everything, right? So, I think it'd be cool if that game can come out and really, I mean, look, I want all the fighting games to succeed. Like, I'm rooting for fighting games.
Indeed.
In general, but Jesus Christ, there's so many of them.
Yes.
I just don't, like, it's so frightening to me.
Yeah,
it is
a lot.
actually frightening to me because, like I said, the first time the fighting game genre kind of died is because it got overloaded. And so I'm actually kind of scared of that.
But at least the games are good now this time around.
Yes.
Last time, a lot of the games were piles of garbage.
KI1, KI2... Time Killers, Mace, The Dark Age, War Gods,
Honestly, I think it's more like there were 10 good fighting games in the 90s and like everything else was bad.
Yes, well, I was definitely naming all the bad ones.
I'm just saying, I feel like it's better, easier to do the opposite. Here's like the 10 good ones, everything else was bad. So I think it's the opposite this time. Almost everything is good nowadays. And Dead or Alive was on DirecTV, if I recall correctly.
Was it?
Oh yeah, you don't remember? It was on. What was one of the generic esports titles? Like World Cyber Gaming, maybe.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I remember that now. Yes. It was one of the ones that died.
It did die.
Yeah. The World Cyber Games was the one that did the.
World Cyber Games.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on. There you go. DirecTV. So. Obviously, it's existed, and the competitive scene has existed. It was just never that big. But I'll give it a go.
Okay.
Anything else before we get to Smash?
God, I feel like there was another fighting game, something that was announced.
There's story mode announced in Soul Calibur.
Okay. That's
cool.
They announced 2 new characters for KOF heroines.
Oh, yeah?
What was her name? Xian, or the crazy dive kicky character.
Oh, Mian?
Mian, that's what it was. Mian and Luong are added to it. Although, it's funny now because Mian has no clothes now, so it's like she looks like a completely different person, right? Instead of the robe.
Oh, that's right, Okay.
So, but, that, and then they did announce that 30th anniversary is going to get some sort of update, that they've heard the frustrations from players, and they announced,
I missed this.
Yeah, they announced that there's a patch coming to it. I don't know what's going into it.
Fair enough.
I talked to some of the Capcom guys, and I was like, hey, what's happening? And they're like, Yeah, so they really couldn't tell me. So yeah, but
that's good. They're keeping their they usually keep their lips sealed.
Yeah. So but they are trying to do something to improve it. So hopefully that means netcode, right?
I think that's the biggest issue with it.
Right.
It'd be nice to be able to do EX moves in third shift.
That's right. I mean, it's funny because when I play it, I don't have that problem. I haven't had that problem yet at all, which is strange. So.
Well, I have.
Okay.
But yeah, it could just be in my hands. Who knows?
Oh yeah, and of course Dragon Ball FighterZ is going to be on Switch, which I'm happy about because now I can practice it on the plane and stuff like that, and just when I'm just chilling and everything like that. Although I will say so far that using a pad, even for BlazBlue cross tag battle, has been really annoying. So it's been kind of frustrating.
Difficult to do.
Yeah, it's just like every time I try to do a double jump combo, I jump straight up instead of diagonal and stuff like that.
So far, I've only used the Switch in BlazBlue cross tag for testing stuff in training mode that's testable with one button. So the example is, I was testing what to do about Jin's Resonance Super, which does like 30% chip.
Oh Jesus!
It's crazy, dude.
Okay.
And it's full height, so you can't jump over it. Well, almost nobody can jump over it anyway. So I was like, what do you do? So I just set the dummy to do the super, and then I was like, all right, what do I press? So I was just like on the floor,
trying to
stretching and rolling out my muscles and whatever, doing self-massage stuff. And yeah, just being like, all right, hey, Taker can backdash, things like that.
Okay.
So other than like really easy testable situations, I haven't tried.
Yeah. My saddest thing right now with BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is the team that I'm kind of settling on is like the most boring.
Okay.
Like, I'm just like not excited about this team. But
Hyde and you.
But the fact that like they have interesting enough combos and kind of rush down that I'm a little excited.
It's not really Hyde and you, right?
No, it's not Hyde and you. It's actually Linne and Weiss. Weisschnee.
They say Weiss.
Oh, they do say Weiss?
That's what the game says. I thought it'd be Weiss as well. The game says Weiss.
Right. So far it's like those two, so it's just sortie chicks basically.
I think Weiss is kind of interesting.
Yeah. I mean, she has that wall, which I haven't figured out like what the best use of it is going to be, the ice wall, so that's kind of interesting. Linne,
Linne's just like a big rushdown character.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that they're boring, it's just that like, I kind of wanted to use like Hazama and like I wanted to do something crazy, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not a weirdo.
Right, but the problem with it is like, although I will say right now with Linne, I'm really feeling the cross tag problem right now. Where I'm trying to develop a solo combo for her, and I'm trying to find a combo that works at multiple ranges and stuff like that. But I just don't have enough access to moves. Like I just feel like I'm missing so many moves because I cannot get anything to consistently connect at certain places because I only have the choice of 4 things to do. I have great combos if I choose to use my teammate. You know what I mean? Like, I can normalize the combo so that it doesn't matter what range I'm at if I have my teammate, if I'm willing to use that partner meter. But if I don't have the partner or if I don't want to spend that meter, I can't, like, I'm just having a lot of trouble finding, like, the ability to craft the combo that I want to do it, you know what I mean? Because I'm just missing, because Linne is literally, my move goes halfway across the screen or my move goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
And the halfway across the screen one is 1, 2, 3 knockdown. You got to use all 3 of them, and then once you've used all 3 of them, you don't have access to those buttons anymore because she's still the Eunice characters still are very Eunice-like, where you can use them and chain them in any direction and stuff like that. But after I knock them down and then I can OTG them, it's so hard to get anything afterwards because they're always not in range anymore, and it's just like there's a little bit of frustration with that. So,
have you looked into Chie? I feel like that character might be fun for you.
I heard she's super damaging, but I haven't messed with her yet.
So she has big solo combos for big damage. She has good setups. She's not like a strong footsies character, but she has really good pressure and damage. And she has the meteor super, so she just like jumps up in the air and throws meteors out, which is a really good setup for high-low stuff.
I've just been kind of avoiding the Persona characters right now because I'm not sure if because I messed with Yukiko and it was literally Persona and fans.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if Persona was just going to be like A and Persona. I'm not sure how they work exactly.
I haven't played Chie myself. But I've been playing against people who use her, and she seems like a James character.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I'll check it out for sure.
Give it a go.
For sure.
All right. Well, let's talk about Smash. So they announced, obviously, a while ago that there'd be a new Smash game, or at least what we all assumed would be new. And today they showed more about it. So it seems, from having watched the Nintendo Direct, and then I also watched the Invitational and the Treehouse in between, where they were showing a bunch of casual sets. I think it looks good. It looks fast to me. It looks certainly faster than Smash 4 in the ways of the movement looks faster, the dashing looks faster and more sort of effective. You can do more actions out of it. The launching looks faster, like the actual character travels faster when they are hit, which is cool. And the game has like these kind of Tekken-ish slowdown moments, which are really cool to watch. So I feel like it, even as just a spectator, it looks like it's more interesting to me.
Right. I was, the thing that stood out the most to me was that when you play the game 1v1, things change.
Yeah.
Right? So the slow motion thing only happens in 1v1, right? That doesn't happen in the party mode. The fact that they up the damage in 1v1, because this was the problem in Smash 4. Like, I realize now what the problem was. They didn't want to up the damage for the 1v1 because that would have affected the multiplayer game as well. They probably didn't want people to die too fast there. Like, the balance on it was... So they literally made it so that in 1v1, moves just do more damage. They showed an example. It was like 48 versus 43% or something. And so you're going to get better launches. What someone actually said to me, though, is that now that means that combos that you're used to in singles might not work in doubles, so now it, like in tennis, there might be dedicated doubles players and stuff like that.
Interesting, though.
And I think that would be cool. I don't mind that at all. Yeah. But like just the fact that they're doing that kind of stuff, that they made it so that every stage has a battlefield variant.
Yeah.
You know, like it seems more than Sakurai going here for glory, for honor, kind of, you know, for glory, for glory, which was almost kind of like a way to like placate you guys, you know, like here, you go play your boring version. But like this one actually feels more like that they're like, okay, look, this is a legit way people are playing this game. We're gonna do this now. Yeah. And I think that's great. I think that's great.
I'm definitely with you. It looked like a lot of fun. It was cool to see people move faster, and on top of that, it seems like when you do like a jump button, seems like there's very little landing lag as
it's like L canceling automatically.
It kind of seems like that. Yeah. So it just seems like all around it's like it's a faster, more interesting game. You can do more things as the player. I feel like you're less like bound in some ways that you were in Smash 4.
I asked like the Smash community on Twitter, I was like, does the game seem faster speed-wise to you? And they said it looks similar to Smash Wii U, but even if it is, the gameplay is going to be faster in general because of the higher damage and the fact that now if you roll a lot, it gets weaker. Like you can stale your roll. I'm sure it's just like everything else. There's probably a hidden meter that if you haven't used it a lot, then it's going to be back to normal. Yeah. But then they said now you can't, because I guess my implication from that comment is that in Smash 4 there's just a ton of rolling, and so it's really hard to kill people, and it kind of stales the game down a little bit, and so it just lasts longer. So I saw a bunch of Smash people on Twitter saying like they might be able to go back to 4 stock on this game.
Oh man, it seemed like it because in the Treehouse and then in the Invitational they were playing it on like 4 or 5 stocks, and it was going plenty fast.
Okay, and then you see the Ryu thing. He doesn't turn around in 1v1. You walk backwards, and so you can't accidentally do the fireball like when you're trying to do Tatsu. He actually plays like a Street Fighter. That's amazing.
It's great. It's great. Yeah,
it's so cool.
I feel like they did a great job with all the returning characters. So every character's in it.
It's MVC2. It's literally MVC2.
Okay. Every character?
MVC2 was every character from all the previous games put into one game.
There you go.
Then here's a few brand new characters.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly, man. That's awesome. I mean, everybody, if you wanted any returning character, then you're happy.
Dude, Ice Climbers is back.
Ice Climbers is back. Now, I did hear that Ice Climbers, Nana can't grab. If Popo grabs, then she like taunts or whatever.
Oh,
so you're not going to get like a chain situation.
Yeah.
So they were aware.
Because the thing about it was, one of the reasons why I don't think they put her in Smash Wii U was because they had the 8-player mode. And it was just they couldn't process having 16 characters on there at once. But obviously the Switch is new hardware, so they probably can. So now if you have 8-player mode and they all pick Popo Nana, you're going to have 16 characters jumping around on the screen, which would be absolutely amazing. Yeah. I want to see that so bad.
So a lot of the returning characters got interesting stuff. Like Ganondorf actually uses his sword nowadays. It's like for his smashes, he actually uses the sword. It's not just kicks and punches. I think that's pretty cool.
Dude, I like the fact that a lot of characters have their own custom meters now.
Yes, they did that.
Yeah, so like Lucina, you can actually see how many times... I'm sorry, it was Robin.
Robin.
You can see how many times she has left to use her weapon, so you know when she's going to toss it and stuff like that. Shulk, now you can choose which power-up on... When you hit the button, the wheel comes out and you select it with the analog instead of trying to cycle through them and stuff. So
yeah, I'm really happy about all that stuff, and presumably there are other balance changes too, but I don't know. But what I heard is that Snake is basically Brawl Snake. Oh, yeah. People were like, "Wow, this guy's the same character."
That's funny.
I don't know how it'll turn out though. Yeah, man, I'm really happy that they did all that stuff, and then new characters. Inkling, I think, is a very interesting character design. They really made it interesting. So she has a meter, like you were talking about, the ink meter. And if she inks the opponent, then they will take more damage from her hits. And that actually happened in the Invitational. Oh, yeah. Mango was playing Inkling, and he like got a bunch of ink onto, I think it was MK who was playing against, and damage was piling up. In fact, fast. Like, he basically got his butt kicked otherwise. But when he got the ink on there, MK was taking the damage for sure.
But the Inklings can run out of ink. You actually have to dive into the ground to actually get your ink back, just like Splatoon. So
yeah, super cool. And then Ridley's in there. Ridley...
That's basically... It's so funny. I woke up this morning and I was like, shit, it's already past 9 o'clock. I'm late for the Nintendo Direct. I grab my phone, I turn on the thing, and right when I get there is when they're showing the cinematic of Ridley coming and swooping down. Like, I caught... And
murdering Mega Man.
Yeah, I caught just that part.
Yeah.
And then it was like credits, and then like, time for the treehouse. I was like, man.
Yeah. Interestingly, in that clip, somebody posted on Twitter later, you can see Ridley doing the little
hat twirl,
right? Just like in Mario. So like, is it actually Cappy?
Oh yeah, he's in there. They already showed it. Cappy's in there. They showed like returning things for for old characters, and they showed that Mario had Cappy.
Oh, I guess what I meant is like, is Ridley controlled by Cappy?
Oh,
so it's like not actually Ridley, but rather.
No,
Mario playing as Ridley.
No, what happened was that when Mario gets swooped away, his hat falls.
I know. But I think I'm going to go with the theory that it's like Mario controlling the big T-Rex.
That's only if Ridley has the mustache, though.
Oh, I guess. Okay, fine.
You have to have the mustache. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, it's really cool that Ridley's in there.
See, but that's again, it's like Sakurai actually was just like, all right, you guys want Ridley, we'll put Ridley. Because they've just said forever, like, we can't put him in there. He's too big. And then they just shrunk him down and put him in the game.
It's like Bowser. How big has Bowser been in some games?
Right.
It's, you can just fix it by making him smaller, whatever, which they did. And they also have him all hunched over, so it's whatever, it's fine.
Right.
He has some very interesting moves.
He has Firebrand Kidnap.
I guess I didn't think about that, but it is like that.
That's what Apology Man tweeted. He was like, Kidnap!
Yeah, it's kind of like Kidnap. And then he has like a spine move that does absurd damage at the sweet spot.
Okay.
40 damage, 40% or something like that. It's like wild looking. So anyway, we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm so happy with all the stuff I've seen. Dude, as soon as they announced it, they put up the website and you could see all those like little animations. That's where that amazing Falco animation was, where he walks up, eats the grape, walks up, sees the chicken on the floor, and he's like, looks at it, and he goes, Arr! Dude, that thing was, oh my god, it was genius. But like they had a new remix of Vega's theme on the site, from Street Fighter. But then also, dude, this is just the nerd geeky, OCD, organized man the fact that they numbered them all like makes me so happy. Like the fact that they all have numbers. Like if I was super into it, I would have memorized all the numbers and like I would have. Dude, it was just like I
thought it was interesting how they numbered the original characters. Like Donkey Kong is number 2.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it might have been the way the order of the character select was. Okay. I think that's probably what it was. Okay. So. Yeah,
60% on Sweet Spot, and it's right. It crumples too on that, so you actually more. So that's crazy damage.
Right?
So,
yeah.
Heads up on that. I don't know if that'll survive. And it seems like Bayonetta has not exactly, but very much the same stuff with the ability to combo somebody off the top of the screen.
Right.
Because that happened in the Invitational. Like MKLeo, I think beat somebody with three stocks still left, something like that, 2 or 3. He's just a blow up.
Oh, okay.
And he was just doing that. So,
dude, the funniest thing about it too is I remember when Smash they announced this game, I was like, probably the best thing Nintendo can do is put in no guest characters so that they can, have the license for performance and all this stuff like that. And
that's right. Exact opposite. Hey, as long as they got good contracts.
Yeah, I know.
Good contracts, that's fine.
Everybody back. Like that blew my head. That blew my mind that they actually just said, you know what, we're just bringing everybody back, including Snake.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, King 999. Yeah, the change to Perfect Shield is really interesting. That happens now when you're getting out of Shield.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
so it's much more about like finding the exact moment yourself, which I think is great.
And they also, like some people are saying that the throw techs are there now. You can tech throw. That's crazy.
I haven't seen footage of that yet.
Yeah, the dodge apparently is directional, although they said the wave dashing doesn't quite work.
Well, so that's because you have to wait until you're a little bit up in the air before you dodge, is what I read.
Oh, okay. There's a height restriction.
There's a height restriction,
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Oops. Okay. Cool. Okay.
But it seems like dashing's better anyway. So.
Yeah, you can attack out of the dashes a lot easier. It just seems like they just did a lot of, like, we actually listened to people's complaints and we fixed it and everything like that. I think the only thing they didn't do was put tripping back in, right? So everybody loved tripping, right?
Jeez. So there's 20 frames of landing lag after
the dodge. Okay.
Didn't know that.
Okay.
That's cool.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Mario's back. That's cool. And he's not an Echo character somehow. I don't know.
Well, they don't count the Echo characters when they have slightly different changes.
I guess that must be what it is. So he has pills. I mean, the pills actually have different trajectories and stuff than.
But I mean, like Mario doesn't even have the cape anymore, right? That's only Dr. Mario.
Oh,
now,
fair enough. Okay,
right?
yeah,
and stuff like that.
I guess,
and like,
right. So Mario
doesn't have the water spray.
Mario is different now than he was in Melee. So that actually makes more sense. That's true.
And he got a spike too.
Right. That's true.
He actually has an aerial spike now. So yeah, his down air was a spike. So Mario does have the cape. Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm sure Dr. Mario does not have the water. So.
What is funny about pills? That's exactly what he's tossing. Dr. Mario's tossing pills. Actually.
Yeah. What is it called? Something else?
I don't know. But yeah, so I mean, look, they announced the date, December 7th, 2018. So it's coming out of the end of this year. But like the fact that Nintendo just basically said, here's all the Smash information that you care about. And that's it. Like, there's no questions left at this point in time. Like, we're all in on this right now. And, like, I hope Melee players take the up, like, maybe go and try to play this game. Obviously, the Smash 4 players will do that. And it's cool because you're not going to be missing any of your mains. Like, your main is going to be there no matter what, right? And so, you know, if we can get it to the point where, like, the entire Smash community is just playing, like, a large, like, obviously they're going to play all the games, but, you know, it'd be cool to see something like EVO just having this one Smash game, you know. So.
Melee is definitely not going anywhere. I would be very surprised if it did. I think it'd be cool if some of the Melee players also played Ultimate. Like, Mewtwo King plays all the games.
He'll definitely play.
But it'd be nice if more people did that kind of thing.
Armada and Mango and Hungry Box. Because that's the thing. But
I'm sure that they'll keep playing Melee.
One of the greatest things about something like Dragon Ball is that, you know, we talked about it, that we get Sonic Fox versus Goichi versus, you know, Leffen and all that stuff like that. Even within the Smash community itself, like, how great would it be to get the Smash 4 players playing against the classic gods? You know what I mean? Because, like, we don't really get... we don't see anything like Nairo versus Armada, you know what I mean, or Hungry Box versus Zero or something like that. I think that would be sick.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think
Hungry Box does play Smash 4, huh? Okay. Yeah.
But, I mean,
for sure, in cross.
You saw some of that today, but it's obviously
it's an exhibition.
So
right? Yeah.
They also had a Nairo versus 3 celebrities, 3-on-1.
Oh, really?
And Nairo blew him up. He was Snake, and it was a blow up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, was that like against like Zelda Williams and like?
It wasn't her, but it was like other people.
Yeah. I remember seeing something about that. So okay.
I don't know some other folks.
I mean, Axiom. If someone wants to just post a link to it, I'll look at it. But
Look at what?
I guess something about Wizard tweeting something. But
Yes, he did. He tweeted. I mean, I don't know how serious it is.
Right, because that's what I was saying. It's like, it could, Wizard is,
It could definitely be taken seriously to look at the wording of it.
Okay.
So I think it'd be real dumb to put a cap on the number of Smash games at EVO. I think it'd be dumb for the scene, because I feel like it should be whichever games are popular should be there. He says 3 Smash games will never be at EVO. Also, with Melee players requiring 3 out of 5 for top 64, which, as far as I know, is not entirely accurate. We can't accommodate them at EVO, so this could possibly be their final year at EVO. I hope Melee is super exciting in the arena this year. So I think it'd be real silly and bad to enforce the not having Smash games. Like I said, I want to have whatever the popular games are, whatever has the scene for it, I think it should be there. And Melee players are, I just feel like, unlikely to give up on their game.
Yeah.
And if that's true, then more power to them. And I expect that Smash 4 will get basically left in the dust in favor of this version.
Because, I mean, this honestly doesn't even feel like as much of a, complete overhaul sequel as it feels like it's like we just took Smash Wii U and we just exploded it, basically.
Yeah, I think that seems right.
It feels like maybe like an MVC1 to MVC2 kind of thing, and then they just, well, I don't know, MVC2 is pretty freaking different than MVC1, so But,
so I don't know, just let it happen. I think I would not want to see anything enforced. Oh man, did Nintendo ask them to stop showing it? I don't know. You never know. Nintendo has taken that step in the past,
right?
But they've changed a lot since that. It was 2013.
Yeah,
they've changed a lot since then.
I mean,
so
again,
I think I'd be surprised.
This is James' conspiracy hat theory, but I always wonder how much Marvel might have affected the reason why MVCI is not at EVO.
I'm with you.
I wonder about that sometimes.
I wonder too.
So it could very well be that Nintendo was just like, oh, okay.
Well, keep in mind nothing's official. And I don't know how seriously to take that Wizard tweet anyway, because Wizard just kind of says stuff sometimes. You never really know.
Oh man. Okay.
All right. Anyway, very cool. Looking forward to it. Great to get more information on it. From a fighting game perspective, it wasn't like the most impactful E3 ever, but the Smash news is obviously really big, and it's nice to get other stuff about other games as well. So,
yeah,
cool.
Exactly. So, okay. Do you want to take another break, and when we come back, we can do week number 2 of our new segment, which last week we just had FGC topics. Now we're going to be calling it 50-50 matchup, which is what someone suggested calling it last week. Where we just take certain topics and talk about them in a pardon the interruption ESPN style. You could do that for a very long time, dude.
I can keep it going, but now you got me smiling.
It's weird that it's hard to do that when you smile, huh?
I guess it is. It's possible, though.
I mean, I always get tired when I do that. And wow, look at this! You've got like all the, you've got.
I have a lot of practice.
You've got the eyebrow raising Olympics on lock here right now. So
been doing it for a long time.
All right, cool. We'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back. All
right, welcome back to the show. So let's do our new 50-50 matchup. Last week we started to do a new program, didn't we?
So basically we're just kind of doing like a pardon the interruption kind of topic. Last week we talked about like what happened to Punk, et cetera, et cetera. And so this week, obviously the big news was the summit and Hook Gang God's win, right?
Yep.
So last week on the chat, you and Tubaware kind of got into it a little bit because you were saying like Piccolo sucks, and Tubaware's like, he's not that bad. And then Hook Gang God comes in here and he wins the tournament with Piccolo, right? And it's an interesting topic because, recently on Twitter we've had Mena RD even being like, I'm done with Birdie. I can't play this character anymore. I need to jump to somebody else. Punk tried to go to Cammy. Knuckle Dew started playing Cammy. Haitani left Nakali, went to Akuma and everything.
Right.
We have all these people abandoning ship for top tier characters, right? And then in a game where, one, the players felt like we definitely knew who was the best, and two, a game where the tiers definitely matter more than most of the other games.
It seemed like it.
All of a sudden, Piccolo and Hook Gang God win.
Not just that, but 5th place Apology Man. So the two Piccolo players, Apology Man's there at 5th place with Piccolo, Tien, Goku, which is like not a top tier team for any of those characters.
So here's the question then: is it better then to stick with a character that isn't strong? So like, are people like Mena RD and Punk and Gamer B and Knuckle Dew and all these guys, are they making a mistake trying to jump to a top tier character? Obviously it didn't work for Punk. He's going back to Karen, for example, right? Is it a mistake to do that because playing the character that you connect with is the way that you win, like Hook Gang God, right? Is that better, or is Piccolo actually just top tier? And we just didn't know, because this is what happens in fighting games, right?
Sure. I think it's unlikely that Piccolo's top tier, but I also think he's probably good. He's just not like a top tier. He's not among the 5 best, but is he among the 10 best?
Yeah, but I mean, in this game where like Cell and like Kid Buu are just like, and Bardock are clearly
very strong,
better than most of the other characters, Hook Gang God succeeds with Piccolo. So what do you think? I mean, if you were talking to some of like those Street Fighter players who are jumping to the top tier character, would you say you're making a mistake?
I think I would caution against learning too much of a lesson from Hook Gang God winning with his team. His victories were as much about Cell Vegeta as they were about Piccolo. Certainly there were some games when Piccolo basically ran the show, but I would submit that in general it was more about Cell and Vegeta. So I think it's tough to learn from a team game the lesson that you have to go top tier because you have multiple characters to sort of back to rely on. In Street Fighter, you just got the one, and in other single games, you just got the one. So I think it's kind of like difficult to learn that lesson too strongly. But I'm certainly not going to argue anymore that I think Piccolo's bad, because it doesn't seem like he's bad. Yeah, I think I was probably wrong about that.
One of the things the commentators are saying is that his jump attacks are all super good, and they look super. They just look like they have ridiculous range on them. But I mean, there is something to be said about using the characters that you're comfortable with, right? I mean, because let's think about it. Last year, Tokido's using Akuma. Everyone's like, oh, he's the best character in the game, and all these, Knuckle Dew with Guile and all these things like that. And who won it was Mena RD with Birdie. He won Capcom Cup, and that was just like...
It turned out that Birdie was top 5.
Right, exactly. That was the thing. All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh my God, he's top 5. We had Cien win with Gen and stuff like that, Is it? I mean, there's part of me that really feels like trying to change to a top-tier character very rarely works. I mean, Cammy won. She's obviously super strong, but the Cammy that won was someone who's been playing her for all 3 seasons.
There you go.
Right? So I really do, like, that doesn't necessarily mean that, like, if you're using Ryu, you're going to win, because Ryu sucks, right? I mean, that's like, there's a different story between Ryu and Piccolo. They're, like, in 2 very different characters, right?
Yeah, I mean, Hook Gang God did not win with like Ginyu, or
like with like Yamcha.
Well, right, okay. So I think it's a little bit different, but I do think that your point is in its essentials correct, that you need to be playing a character that you like, that you enjoy using. Because if that's true, then you'll be more into exploring all the little facets of the character. You won't feel like it's a chore. If you think something's a chore, you just are less inclined to put everything into it.
Right.
So if it's something that you like, then you're going to do better. But it has to be within competitive reason. Like, if your favorite character is Q, you're out of luck. But if your favorite character is one of the top
Makoto,
10-ish or whatever, exactly.
Yang kind of
right,
thing.
then okay, you can do it. It's maybe a little tougher, but it's doable.
And as you mentioned, obviously in a game like Dragon Ball, the team aspect can cover Piccolo's weaknesses a lot more, right? So
so I think I wouldn't learn like all the lessons out of it. It's just, but it is a good point that you have to enjoy the characters, and he definitely enjoys Piccolo. It's obvious. So
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if he would enjoy other characters well enough to also win with them. I think that it might be reasonable for him to try that out. But if he finds that he just doesn't enjoy playing the game without Piccolo, then that's fine. I mean, even in thinking in other team games, there's certainly examples where somebody has 2 out of 3 strong characters in Marvel 3 or in Marvel 2.
Oh, did NL play Ryu Season 1? Okay, that's my mistake. I wasn't sure.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
But I mean, he's been playing her for 2 years now, and he's obviously very good with this character, so just a lot more than like what Punk and Knuckle do in Gamerby are doing, right? So,
sure.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Cool. Kind of related to this, the next question that I have for you here is that, dude, Hook Gang Gods, he entered his first tournament 4 months ago.
His first offline tournament ever was this year.
And that's what a lot of, and now he just won.
And now he's maybe the best Dragon Ball player in the world.
Right. I mean, it's hard to debate that when you beat Goichi, Fenrich, and Sonic Fox in the same tournament, right? It's really hard to argue with that. Similar, I feel like, kind of like how Punk showed up all of a sudden, He just showed up out of nowhere at the Red Bull Battlegrounds.
He had played online, but not offline.
But then he
as much
got, 3rd place, I think it was, at that tournament? And then it was like, I think it was like
Sounds
4th
right.
or 3rd place or something like that. And he did really well. And, it's interesting, there's these young kids like coming in here and then they're winning and doing really well right away. So a lot of people are going to be like, oh my God, this guy is just oozing with natural talent. And, for me, that's kind of scary because, I'm of the notion that I believe that, you can get to that place even if you don't have that kind of natural talent. But do you feel like this genre is kind of a natural talent kind of, favoring kind of situation here? You know what I mean? Can we expect someone to rise up all of a sudden and defeat everybody like Hook Gang God did that put in the work,
So I think the first thing I would say is that although the first time that he played offline in a tournament was 4 months ago, wild number, first off, incredible number. He put in a lot of work online before that, so it's not like this dude like picked up fighting games this year.
Right.
He put in a ton of work. Punk did the same thing.
Right.
Mena did the same thing. It just, if you're not paying attention, and why would you? Previously, then it feels like they just pop in and here they are. They're the best all of a sudden. That said, certainly for all of those cases, their rise is meteoric. It is.
Even Mena RD had had a meteoric rise.
Absolutely right. So for all those guys and for some others too, it's definitely meteoric in a way that is rare. It's so. My take on it is that it's always been the case that the players with talent are the ones who win and also put in the time. So I would say that in almost no case is somebody a strong player who doesn't have natural talent. Certainly there are cases where somebody has less natural talent but puts in more work, and there's a kind of like a combination where that can be made to work in rare cases. But I think for the vast majority of top players and for the best players, exclusively so, that they come into it with a giant amount of natural talent. They're very smart, they're analytical, they adapt quickly, they can keep their eye on what's going on physically while also keeping their brain going on what's happening, which is just not an easy combination to make happen.
Yeah,
they have physical control out of things. They have two hands that work. Like there's just like a lot of things that are, I feel, required innately. Right. That doesn't mean that you're going to be the best, because you have to then also put in a lot of work.
Right.
Nobody's the best or even good without putting in a lot of work.
Right.
Absolutely right. But I also think that nobody's the best who doesn't also have incredible natural talent.
I mean, a lot of people are talking about Tokido. Tokido was one of the best when we saw him.
Incredible natural talent. Absolutely.
A long time ago at B5 or whatever it was. You know, NuckleDu was worse than Dominion with Guile for a while.
Sure.
And he just kind of did.
When he was 15 years old, that's true.
Yeah. But, you know, even someone like when I think of like I try to think of like the guys who are hard at work, right? Who are there year after year after year, like GamerB, right? But GamerB won a VF2 tournament like 20 years ago or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Like he was obviously very good at video games the whole entire time. But I mean, do you think that's discouraging to people?
Well, I don't know, but I feel like if that's discouraging to them, it's going to be a tough life, because that's not just in fighting games. That's just how everything is. I think it would be great if that wasn't the case. Certainly it would accord with my politics better in some ways. But I definitely think it's true that for anything, the people who are the best at it are the ones who, A, have natural talent, and B, also put in the work.
Right. So
I feel like you have to have both, but without, it's easier to go without lots of work than it is without natural talent.
Right. I mean, like, there are certain players, like, I love them to death. You know, Kaneda, Terry, for example. First time I played him in Street Fighter 4, it was one of those situations where I was like, all right, I gotta go easy on this guy and, like, not make him feel bad. You know what I mean? Kind of situation. But he got to the point where, remember, he got a Road to Evo point. He was so happy about that. It was 1 point, but he was happy about that. You know, he got super good in there, right?
Yeah, I bring
up guys like Gustavo, right? He's made it to 2 Capcom Cups.
Yeah.
And I remember in the beginning of Street Fighter 4, he wasn't even the stronger between him and Renzo.
Sure.
Right? Renzo, Peru, was definitely a stronger player than he was, but eventually Gustavo kind of worked his way up there. Then we've got players like Dark Jawar, who's just been going everywhere, but he just doesn't seem to be able to find that success.
Well, I mean, he makes top 8s pretty regularly at major events, so it's not like he's doing nothing. But I do think that when it comes to, can you win Evo or Capcom Cup or even a Premier in the way that NL did, I really think that there's a lot of natural talent that goes into it, and then you also have to have a lot of work.
Right. I actually really like what Muffin Man said there. Being restricted by the belief that you need natural talent is more of a hurdle than not having the natural talent, you know. So basically, if you basically believe that I can't succeed because I don't have the natural talent, that's going to hold you back more, you know.
Okay, so you might make it a self-fulfilling prophecy because you don't try because you think. Well, I think it's also true that not everybody goes into it thinking that they have natural talent, but in fact having natural talent. Because in other things in life, I've certainly met people who are actually very smart, but have been told by people who were jerks that they're stupid. Or that they're not great athletes, but actually they can do some things. Maybe they're not the best runner, but maybe they lift weights really well. Like this, so I've met enough people that it seems like they may have natural talent, but they didn't believe it until they put the work in, and then they were like, actually, I'm pretty good. So but I think in those cases it's probably less that they worked really hard and they created talent out of nothing than that they discovered that in fact they had talent. I mean, but they also worked really hard.
There's also, I mean, like some people are talking about Justin and Chris G. Like Justin doesn't practice that much. Chris G, according to Biscuit Butt, basically says that Chris G says that he only plays fighting games when he's streaming, et cetera, like that. It's interesting because obviously those are very talented players.
Yeah.
But we don't see the work that they put into it. So Justin always tells a story where he couldn't win at Chinatown Fair, so he practiced a ton to get to the point where he could beat people. And then Chris G was one of those people at Chinatown Fair that Justin used to enjoy beating up.
Yeah,
and
he was a scrub.
Yeah, Chris G had to get good. Yeah. I think about guys like Chris Tatarian, right? So he's obviously been playing super well. When he first showed up to Wednesday Night Fights, he was just another guy that you beat up on. And you know, you talk to him about like what he had to learn from Vi, what he had to learn from John Choi. You know, he always tells that story about the first attempt with John Choi and all that stuff like that. You know, he's obviously put in the work to get to that level. Whereas someone like Snake Eyes was like, I'm just going to go play HDR. I won EVO.
Right.
You know, and so,
I mean, to be fair, he had played earlier too.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, but you're right. So my take is that there's a spectrum, and that there are some players who have, you know, maybe you need 100 points to win EVO, and some people have 80 points of talent, and then they just need like the extra 20. And then there's some people who had 50 points of talent, and they needed to like work the extra 50 of it, right? So maybe for Snake Eyes, we're talking about somebody who just can just do it,
right?
Or maybe that's how Hook Gang God is. Maybe he had 80 points of talent already, and he just needed to work a little bit more. But some players, like I wouldn't think that somebody would be able to have 20 points of talent and then build the 80. That seems unlikely to me. So.
And then, so, you know, and then about Chris G saying that he barely practices unless he's streaming. There are definitely two types of players. There are the ones that once they figure out the mental side of it, they just can maintain it without practicing much. And then there are the players who, if they don't play, it's just...
Sure.
Right. That's honestly how I am.
Right.
I've said this many times. Right. I am a quantity player.
Right.
I get better by playing a lot. If I don't play a lot, then I can't retain it like everybody else, like a lot of other people do. I've always felt like Gutex is that kind of a player as well. He was super competitive. Right, in Street Fighter 4 because he played every day.
Sure.
And then when he hasn't played as much, he hasn't been able to maintain it. But guys like Justin and Chris G, it's like they don't have to play, and then somehow they just don't lose anything.
Well, when you talk with some of those guys about it, what they say is that instead of playing, they think about situations in advance, and in thinking about it, that's enough for them to remember what to do when it comes up. So it's not like they approach situations sight unseen at all, but it's more like, there's a thing. What should I do about it? Ruminate. Okay, there it is.
I was just talking to a player today who said that, you know, they feel like they get better not as much by practicing, but more just theory crafting a lot.
I think that's definitely true. I'm not sure that speaks to like what your ceiling is in terms of skill, because I feel like both. I think it's just a different way to get there. So I feel like players can be good.
So you do feel like the people without the natural talent can still overcome that handicap a little bit.
I'm saying I don't think that necessarily speaks to natural talent.
Oh, okay.
I think that may be a separate thing. I think that there's natural talent in anything. I mean, for sure. Like there are certainly things. I don't know. I mean, I've had experiences where I come with friends. We come into something new, and one of my friends is great at it, and I'm struggling, or I'm really good at it, and they're struggling, and they're like, I don't understand, and I'm like, it's easy. I just do X or Y, and it's like the opposite when they are good. So that's. I've experienced that. Right? I feel like that's a normal thing. So in those situations, I think that's the natural talent popping out. And then if I worked a lot at it, maybe I'd find that I have talent too. Maybe it wasn't apparent. Or maybe I would be able to overcome my friend's lack of working on things and with my own work.
Right.
But I definitely think that there's natural talent.
I mean, the nicest thing, honestly, about fighting games, just to kind of bring this whole thing to a close, is regardless if you have the natural talent or not, at least it isn't a basketball situation where if you're 4 foot, whatever, 5 foot, you're just assed out and you're not going to be able to succeed unless you're the super rare Muggsy Bogues. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously, there's the situations where maybe if your hands don't work as properly, but then you look at a guy like Broly Legs and you're like, well, I don't really have an excuse. You know what I mean? So that's the nice thing about video games. Definitely nice thing about that. So.
Well, I guess I think that it's true that for pro sports there are more bottlenecks. You can't do it unless you're a certain height, which is not something we have to deal with.
Right.
But they also can't do it if they're like stupid or lazy. If they whatever. So those things also apply to fighting gamers, but maybe not also height. But there are things that you need as a fighting game player.
I mean, I'll tell you this right now.
That you can't get by without.
We wouldn't even maybe even be having this conversation about who the greatest basketball player is of all time if Shaq didn't get fat and lazy.
Maybe.
Like, because he had the potential he was in such a unique position that nobody would ever match his size and speed and strength.
Yeah.
And then he got fat and lazy. That's the end of that. So.
for me, this was so. it took me a long time to learn the lesson that I had to work at things. It's still hard for me to learn that.
Right.
Because, well, I don't want to talk myself up too much, but there's this one time in law school where my friend was really happy because she felt that she came into law school with the worst LSAT score, but now the best grades, like the best combination of whatever that separation is. She felt she had the best separation, and she was super happy. And I knew that I was the opposite. That I came into law school with a super good LSAT, and then I got ass grades because I never worked. And she did the opposite. She worked really hard, and she was really happy. And I was like mad at myself that I didn't also work. But I definitely came into it with like a really high. I should have been good. And I wasn't. I was really bad at it. So it took me a long time to learn that I had to do that too. It's I don't know.
It sucks, dude.
It's just
effort is hard.
Natural talent's not going to get you anywhere, or not going to get you everywhere. Yes. I think that it gets you a pretty good distance, but if you don't also have work on top of it, then it doesn't matter if you're naturally talented.
You have to foster and maintain natural talent in a lot of ways, and even if Chris and Justin aren't practicing as much, they already put in a bunch of that work. They already put in a bunch of that
Tens of thousands of hours.
Yeah, we talked about Snake Eyes earlier. Even in that little documentary that Vi narrated and stuff that Red Bull put out, he talked about how he had played Street Fighter hours and hours and hours at the arcade.
Incredible amount. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, 99th percentile, and then I got a C and stuff. I really should have done the homework.
And actually, Soul Name actually has a little bit, or is it Sui Name? Yeah, Sui Name. Actually, or Suinami maybe, I don't know, but there is also a lot of luck too.
Oh, dude, I honestly think luck is the biggest thing, because luck. The innate talent is luck. You can't claim any of that yourself. You just whatever talent is there is not your doing. It just happens to be there for you. And then on top of that, the circumstances or the innate personality that lead to you doing all the extra work. I feel like there's a lucky set of circumstances that brings that about too. I feel like life is basically about luck in almost all the important ways, but that's not a useful thing to think. I feel like that's fact, but it's not useful to believe that. If that makes sense. It's more, in a utilitarian sense, more useful for you to think that you need to work at everything, because if you don't, then you're not gonna, and then definitely you're not gonna do anything. Right.
You're not putting yourself in a position where luck can benefit.
Exactly. But the reality, I feel, is that luck is basically everything, and part of your belief that you need to work is also luck.
Yeah. So. I mean, the way that I kind of think of it is both ways, that, luck is a factor of it, but you put yourself in positions where luck will benefit you. You have to be ready to seize that moment when it comes up, kind of situation.
Yeah, you're right. But that said, I feel like that entrepreneurial spirit is maybe a little bit of luck.
Yeah.
To want to do that, or to be able to recognize that in the first place.
For sure. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
life. It's a gamble,
this
friends.
Conversation went into a very different position, so,
Then the last thing I wanted to talk about was I really enjoyed some of the commentary over this past weekend when Justin did commentary at E-League, and at the summit we had Leffen and Nakiel and Lord Knight and a couple of the other players doing commentary there, and I really liked it. I thought that it was awesome. They are very smart players. They're very insightful. They know their game super, super well, and they can talk about it. So, should we always have players on commentary? / are players better commentators?
I don't necessarily... Well, I believe that there is a factor in which you have to have played a little bit to understand the kind of things that you go through in the game. I don't feel like I would be a quality commentator if I hadn't played as much as I have.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to be one of the best to do commentary. However, I love listening to the best players talk about things, like when Justin goes into details about this guy has this habit, that guy has that habit. That stuff is cool, and I think it's a good complement to what we know of commentary right now. So what they did at E-League, I think, works out. And I did like the conversational style of you know what's going on there, because there's definitely two levels of it, right? So like for example, what Justin did at E-League was fantastic, right? He was really analytical and all stuff like that, really went into the high level stuff. But then, you know, as an FAQ writer, and I think that's probably one of my greatest strengths as a commentator, is that I kind of have this really keen sense of what people are aware of and what they, and the audience that's watching it. So like one of the things that made me sad was when Momochi did just the most epic high counter to Commander Jesse jumping back.
That was super sick.
They were just like, oh my god, that was the counter for the ages and everything like that. Yeah. And they clipped it, you know, that it was on Twitter.
Yeah.
And no one talked about the fact that Colleen's EX has to be aimed.
Right.
And so I tweeted that, and I was like, look, this was amazing because you still have to aim Colleen's counter. And he did the anti-air counter next to somebody because he knew Commander Jesse was going to jump back and punch. That's what made that counter ridiculous. And like, I feel like sometimes people forget to talk about that. Mm-hmm. You know, and I had some people who were like, wait, doesn't EX counter them all? And I'm like, nope, not with Colleen. And you know, like, so I feel like there needs to be a good balance between those two kind of things. It's kind of like when I watch Inside the NBA and Kenny and Charles and Shaq are going kind of crazy, and then Ernie Johnson kind of has to reel them in sometimes, you know. So I think it's a good combination of having both. Having said that, I think it would be kind of interesting maybe to do a three-man commentary, you know, with a really strong player. The hardest part is, can we find the really strong player who's not making top eights all the time?
I think that's the biggest roadblock. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think, you know, part of it for sure was that Justin was doing analyst
Yipes
role.
did win Evo. Yipes won Evo.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah. Okay. So Justin was not the live commentator; he was the analyst, and there was no requirement that he. I mean, I guess there's a time constraint, but it wasn't fast. He didn't need to like get all the points out very quickly.
Right.
It was analysis afterward where you get more time to talk about whatever's in your mind. You don't have to speak quickly. You don't have to shut yourself up and watch whatever the next thing that's going on is. And at the summit, it was also conversationally enough that you could speak. You wouldn't have to cut yourself off either. So it wasn't like the same kind of like maybe fast-paced commentary that other situations require. So I think these situations were a little bit unusual. I don't think that they're common. That said, I definitely think that if those guys were to commentate a lot, that they would learn those skills because they're learnable. We learned them.
Yeah.
We didn't start out with that stuff.
We were terrible at first.
Yeah, so I think that they'd be able to learn that stuff too. And if they did, they would also be super good.
Yeah.
I would say, though, that in doing so, they would have to spend so much time commentating that they wouldn't be playing as much anymore, and that they wouldn't be quite as up in playing situations as they currently are. In early Street Fighter 4, I won tournaments and stuff, but in commentating, I mean, obviously for other reasons too, but part of why I became not as good a player was because I was concentrating on commentary. Right. And so it's very difficult to have both sides of those things.
Yeah.
So I feel like kind of it would end up being that they wouldn't be quite as strong on the things that we really liked about their commentary. So I don't know, the trade-off is maybe a little bit.
Like, I'm wondering if, like, let's say PR Balrog says, you know, I don't want to play anymore, and then like he jumps on commentary, would he be able to have that same kind of analytical thing as when he doesn't play as much, is kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah. And I think he would retain a lot of it.
Yeah.
But I do think that there'd be that like edge that he's spent so much time honing would be a little bit duller.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I think most of us who are commentating were at one point top level players.
Right.
It's the case with like some of us have. I've never been in an Evo top 8 actually, but basically everybody else has.
I have, but it was Mario Kart.
I know.
It's just it doesn't even count. But, although for an Evo West, I was in a top 8.
There you go. I can't say that.
Evo West for. I think it was for Hyper Anniversary Edition.
Okay.
Yeah, I
think my highest ever placing at a major was second or third. Maybe it was third at SoCal Regionals when it was at Denjin. Or maybe it was called California Regionals.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I got third place. So, yeah, I don't have that stuff. But most of the players most of the commentators are or were really good players, and they could be making top 8 or top 16 if they really spent their time on it. I think for most of the cases. Sajam is like that for sure. Rip, Tasty Steve, Katana Prime, Ketchup and Mustard are both like that. Yeah, I feel like in a lot of the situations there are people who have made top 8s at majors or even won Evo in some cases. So I think that most of the commentators basically are who like Nakiel and Lord Knight are now.
Right.
But in the future, if they didn't spend as much time playing and more time commentating instead.
And I did make top 8 in Mario Kart DS, and that's
and Yipes as well. Obviously, he won.
That's when I was actually not as good in that game.
Okay.
Like I got way better at Mario Kart DS, so like I probably could have did a lot better. But even still, I have the first place player Snake. I'm just a Ghost. On one of my favorite tracks on that Mario Kart DS, and I cannot keep up with it.
Dang, all right.
It like doesn't make any sense to me. It literally makes no sense to me how fast he disappears.
That's funny, man.
It's still crazy.
Sajam was one of the best Killer Instinct players for a while.
He'd still be making top 8s.
He probably
right
would
now.
be.
Yeah, especially, and even in Injustice, he would be making top 8s.
I'm not sure. I think he definitely did and would have in Injustice 1, but the scene has changed a lot. I'm sure that'll be doable now.
Okay.
But I think he'd be making top 16s for sure. Ringe was a good Marvel player. Ski Sonic has made top 8 at Evo at least once, I think twice.
TVC
with TVC, and he was actually at top 8 of the first Marvel Infinite major even. So he's a super good player.
Yeah.
Ski was really good in Marvel and in Capcom versus SNK too.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, again, kind of summing it up a little bit.
Anyway,
I think I like the variety, right? Obviously, I would like to commentate everything from a financial standpoint. Right, but if let's just say we were all getting paid enough that we didn't have to worry about that, I would love to see the variety. I think that's one of the unique things about the fighting game communities, that we have the variety and the different kind of styles. So if a tournament, like I don't know if I'd want the 2 commentators and like the pro player and analyst every time.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
You know what I mean? Like at this one event, we do the standard 2 stuff. On this event, like at Red Bull Battlegrounds, we'll do the 4-man couch thing. On this event at Summit, they do the 5 things. So I'm all for the variety more than anything.
Makes sense to me, man.
So,
yeah.
There you go. So I'm down with any version of it. So.
Z was a pretty good Street Fighter 4 player.
Yeah.
Eris was a super good Tekken player, of course.
Dude, he was even super good at Injustice 1, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Really good at Soul Calibur, of course.
Seth Killian was a top ST player.
Again, I think almost all of the strong commentators were, or even are, good players.
Reinhardt would be so good.
Reinhardt's he's done it in the past. I think he's really good.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. But no, I think
Scar and Toph were good. I mean, again, like I think in almost all of the cases, Ryan Hunter's a good player.
Like I said, you kind of have to be, though.
Yeah.
You kind of have to, because you have to understand the mentality of a player. Like, I like one of the matches that we did when Problem X went up 2-0 against NuckleDoo and then got tied up, and then in that last game where he just kind of crumbled, I started talking about that mental fatigue stuff. I wouldn't have been able to talk about that had I not experienced it myself so many times. You know what I mean? I could see exactly what was happening to him, in that last match, because I was like, damn, I do this all the time.
Right.
I play this super solid game. You get to the last game, and you're just like, I'm tired. Like, I just want to get this over with.
Yeah.
So you start doing stupid, like, I'm going to media uppercut because I just want to do the damage and win so I can stop.
Sure.
And that mental
I know exactly
fatigue.
What you mean.
Yeah. But see, you don't know that until you play and you've been in those situations.
Oh, of course.
So,
yeah. And by the way, it's not even just in English language. Most of the best Japanese commentators were Nuki's a great example. Yeah, Hameko's super good, also a really good player. Like, I feel like that's just kind of how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hellbox did make top 8 at CEO in KOF.
Yeah,
he was scheduled to commentate, but he could not.
He got pulled off of that.
Top 8.
Yep, exactly. So, yep.
And there have been some times.
Ryan Hart is a great comment. Ryan Hunter is a great commentator.
Yeah, we talked about him earlier. Yeah, Spooky was a good player. Arturo's still a fantastic player. F-Word was a really good Ibuki player. Logan he'll tell you not the best player in the world, but he's not that bad.
He might be one of the main exceptions.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Yeah.
I think he's like the number one exception about that because he's never really played super competitively. But I mean,
he's not like a bad player by any stretch.
Well, what I'm saying is like, during the course of Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5, he has played a ton of casuals.
For sure.
And he has improved a lot.
That is true.
And somehow, I mean, there is something like, I don't know if it's just because he talks with F-word a lot, but he's absorbed a lot of it in there as well. So
yeah, Tyrant is a really good commentator. Obviously, he was a great player. Jammers is the same.
Baruti, yeah. Also
Spooky made top 8 at Evo in Melty Blood.
Did he make top 8 in that?
Or maybe he was 9th place. It was like one of those two, for sure.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I don't know anything about
Donka has definitely placed high in tournaments, sure.
I don't actually
multiple
know
top 8s in
anything
multiple
about
games.
Giuna's previous experience, but I know he's been good at anime games and stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, segment actually lasted much longer than I was expecting it to. But
man, I didn't know Logan was in silver in Street Fighter 5. No.
Silver? I mean, I'm still in silver right now, but that's because I've barely played. I got to gold. I hit platinum at one point in time, and then I switched characters and I lost all my points.
Oh, okay. Well, that happens.
That's what happened. So yeah. That's basically what happened. But I did make platinum at one point in time with Tourney. So with playing like once every 3 weeks or something like that. So there you go. So.
Oh, Giuna qualified for SBO in BlazBlue? I didn't know that.
There you go. Okay. Yeah, top BlazBlue player in Japan. Kokonoe.
Okay, yeah, I'm not that serious.
Okay. All right.
Anyway.
Okay. I guess we can do some FG. Actually, do you mind if we take a quick break and then we can come back and do the FGC news stuff?
You got it, man.
All right, cool. We'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the show. I'll have you know that I have, in fact, cosplayed Phoenix Wright. And I kind of can't believe that you don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, you can find it still on Maximilian's channel, right? So, yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Not my greatest work. Acting is difficult.
Yeah, acting's fun.
I enjoyed the process while knowing I was terrible at it. That's basically how it went.
Okay. Got some. Let's talk about some fighting game news here. In particular, some other results, tournament results. So obviously, E-League Group B happened. I did not get a chance to watch most of it. Did you see a lot
I
of it?
watched a lot of it.
Okay, cool.
Most of it.
So Group B was Punk, Fudo, Momochi, Phenom, 801, Strider, and Commander Jesse. It's funny. I feel like it was kind of like a replay of week one, right?
Yes.
Very similar kind of situation here, but Group B was the one that played out. And
in the round robin, Momochi basically got his butt kicked. He went winless, 0-5. Everybody beat him. 801 Strider was 5th place. He went 2-3, tied with Fudo, who went 2-3. So Fudo and Momochi both bottom 3. Commander Jesse went 3-2. Phenom went 4-1, and Punk went 4-1.
Yep.
So it was definitely Punk and Phenom looking the best in the little group stage there. And then can you go up?
Is this the result right
Go
here?
up?
No, that's not the result.
Up more?
Oh, it's here. Oh, okay, got it.
So then the actual tournament bracket happened, and if people won't recall, there's the round robin that determines your seeding in the bracket. So even if you do terribly in the round robin, you're still in the bracket. You just have to win coming from loser side, which means your path is much longer.
Right, exactly. And so Momochi had to have the longest path. But it'll be interesting to go through these results because in 6th place was 801 Strider and 5th place was Fudo, who both of us picked to make it out, and a bunch of the analysts on the show picked
I think everybody picked Fudo.
I think everybody was pretty sure Fudo was going to make it out. Commander Jesse in 4th place after, as you mentioned, doing really well, getting 3rd place in the round robin portion of that. He only got eliminated by that ridiculous counter by Momochi. So 3rd place was NVD Phenom, but 2nd place, Echo Fox Momochi.
Yeah.
So he came all the way back, just like Dogura, who was in 2nd to last place, essentially starting in the same position as getting the last place. But he made it all the way to 2nd place and made it out and eventually lost to the 1st place person. And in this case, in Group B, that was Echo Fox Punk.
Yeah.
So Punk, who we were just talking about last week, like maybe potentially...
What's wrong with Punk?
Yeah, what's wrong with Punk? The answer is nothing!
Yeah,
Punk is just fine, which, was kind of the suspicion that we had all along, so...
It's true. But yeah, it was... Punk did definitely run the day, but it was another disappointment for European players and fans because Phenom was in the same position that Luffy was in the previous week, of having done really well on the group stage, only needed to win once in order to qualify for the next round, and instead the person who had done badly in the group stage came all the way through and eliminated them. So it happened again, which is a bummer for them.
Right.
But,
Yeah,
that's how it went.
But good job to Echo Fox Punk. He is going to qualify to the playoffs on the winner side, and Momochi will make it on loser side, only using Colleen.
As far as I saw.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, and it's funny because during the group stage, while he was getting his butt kicked, everybody was like, man, Colleen is just not the right character for him.
Yeah.
And then he blitzed through the tournament bracket, and then some people were like, you know what, okay, fine. But me, I still think it's the wrong character choice.
You think so? You still think so? Okay. I mean, look, Momochi's been one of the best people at melding the game to his style.
True.
He's been good at that, but, Colleen is definitely an interesting one to go with.
I would love to see him play a character who's a little more focused on the footsies.
He should just be playing Akuma.
He should probably play Akuma.
He just should be playing Akuma.
But if he doesn't enjoy it, as we've previously discussed, he's not going to do as well. So, he's in a weird place character-wise. But it's cool to watch him play, for sure, as always.
Also this weekend...
he's waiting for Cody. He's even actually said he's waiting for Cody.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense, because that's what he played in Street Fighter 4 a little bit after... Wasn't he the one that got booed using Yun, and so he was like, this sucks, and so he played Cody instead?
Yep.
Also this past weekend was the fight in Colombia. I believe this is a ranking event. Yes, this is a ranking event in Colombia, and we have a lot of strong players make it out here, a lot of the Latin American players that we know about, and then also, of course, Dark Jawa made it out here as well. Man. So, 7th place was Umbrella Dark using Birdie, and 7th place was also GXTSD Serpentaris with Zeku. 5th place, Raptor Elmber with Laura, and Rise Mena RD with Birdie. So, 4th place, Sonic Box Doomsnake with Vega. So this kind of goes along with, playing that character that, you have that connection with.
But he should probably switch, because, come on, buddy.
Yeah.
I understand you like the character, but come on.
Third place, is IG Jawa.
Awesome.
With Akuma, so 3rd place here. 2nd place, Furia HK Dash, who's been doing work in Latin America with M. Bison. But 1st place was Rise Kaba with Guile. So a lot of good points there for Kaba.
Now, Mena RD claimed afterward that he'd be quitting Birdie.
Yes, he was kind of frustrated. He says the character is not consistent enough, and that's kind of like what kind of brought me into that, wanted to talk about Hook Gang God and Piccolo and stuff like that, because someone was just talking to me about that for a long time. It was just like, this game is obviously unbalanced, because look at Mena RD wants to quit Birdie, and, for the longest of time, Mena RD has said is that he has a secret actual primary character, that Birdie's not even his true name.
Yeah, he's been saying that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I don't necessarily if Mena RD was like, I'm gonna play Cammy, I don't see the success.
That doesn't seem right. But I think it'd be cool if he had a counter pick, because Birdie definitely loses matchups, so it'd be useful to have a secondary character.
Maybe even an Abigail, He was
playing the character. I don't know if that's continued, but I know in Season 2 he played Abigail.
Right.
As a secondary.
See here. This was also. Oh yeah, this.
Oh man, Jiwa's air miles. Yeah, he can.
I hope he's first classing him everywhere. I hope he's
so.
First classing everywhere, dude, because he's got miles all over the place. So, also, which was a big tournament this weekend, was in Poland this weekend. The Fighting Games Challenge.
Okay.
The Tekken 7 event here, this was actually a master tournament. So this is one of the big ones. It's basically the premier event out there. Mark Mann even flew out there to do commentator with Spaghetti Rip. Not actual Rip, with Spag. And so lot of the players made it out to here for Tekken. So, I mean, if you look at this, for example, in 9th place, Tishuman was in 9th place, Fergus, Kane, and Trench, 9th place. Yeah. But 7th place were Crazy Super Akuma with Akuma. Mm-hmm. He was the one that we saw in Kuwait, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Circa Joey Fury, also 7th place with Paul and Jack 7. And was it Joey Fury who had the crazy... tech where when he went up against Kakoma, he pulled out a crossplay like video of Kakoma and like showed it to the camera or something like that. I think that was him. 5th place, Fursun Low High with Shaheen and La, and then Rox Dragon Chanel with Elisa and Akuma. Okay. I think Chanel used to use like Elisa and Eliza, was it? Or maybe, I'm not sure. Okay. 4th place, Fursun Rain Chu with Panda, Kuma, and Josie. Sick. Oh, that wasn't Joey. That was somebody else. Okay. 3rd place with Kakoma was Kakoma with Dragon of Geese, Devil Jin. 2nd place, Rox Dragon Knee, who had been winning everything. But 2nd place here with Hayachi, Jin, Steve, Paul, Brian, and Devil Jin. Wow. But 1st place... previous year's Tekken World Champion, Kudans, taking it with Devil Jin. So Kudans there. Good job to him. Good job to him taking that one.
Yeah, so, man. That's awesome.
A lot of points for him. Nee certainly doesn't need any more points right now. Yeah. So good job. All right. That was the events that were this weekend. We talked about a bunch of the stuff already, but just to recap some of the small things that were here. The Dragon Ball FighterZ World Tour was announced. Woo! It's going to start at CEO this year.
All right.
Obviously Switch was announced, but the Switch is going to Smash Brothers 4 Switch was announced, and it's going to be playable in New York City starting today. Let's see here at the Nintendo New York store. It's actually going to be playable here all during E3. Basically.
How about that?
So if you're in New York, you can actually go and play that.
That is cool.
Akira's upcoming Fighting EX Arika, sorry, you're right, will be playable at EVO. They're going to have a presence at EVO. They also had a release date that was announced. Oh, I don't have the release date over here. But they definitely had the release date announced. Here, let me see if I can look it up real quick. Fighting EX Layer release date.
Fighting EX Later. That's funny.
Did I accidentally type later?
No, but Eric Man made that joke in the chat.
Oh, nice. Okay. June 2018.
Oh,
okay, so it's
coming
this
out
month. Very soon.
I heard that's this month.
Yes, there you go. June 26th. Okay. So some people say in the chat. This week, EVO 2018 finals tickets are on sale in celebration of E3. So if you haven't bought your EVO ticket, this week might be a good time. Grab them at a discounted price.
I haven't bought mine.
As we mentioned, Capcom has promised improvements to Street Fighter 30th anniversary. As to what extent that is it going to be like, hey, we changed the button select and that's the end of it, or
that would be nice at least.
Yeah, we will see what the extent of that is going to be. We mentioned that Mien and Luang are showing up in SNK Heroes Tag Team Fury. You mentioned that Soul Calibur 6 had the story mode trailer released. Not only that, but they announced that the game will be out on October 19th, 2018.
The story mode appears to show Lizard Man and maybe Rock, maybe Astaroth. It's kind of hard to tell.
Okay. We mentioned this as well. Dragon Ball FighterZ is coming to the Nintendo Switch. So that will be coming out. I'm kind of excited about that one. The Capcom Pro Tour DLC and Cody will be released on June 26th.
Right.
So that's going to be two Tuesdays from now.
Okay.
So he will be available, as well as the new stage there, and we will all be able to find out what the deal with Cody is.
What's the deal with Cody?
The Neo Geo Mini. Someone in the chat talked about that. It was available there. I didn't get a chance to try it, but some other people were talking to me about that. I saw some people messing with it in videos and stuff.
Okay.
But, looks really cute, actually.
It is a cute little thing.
Yeah, I think someone was talking to me about. They're like, yeah, I went to go try it out, and I played against like the Samurai Showdown 2 computer, and like you can't beat the second character because those, dude. That's what everyone's discovering with ST on 30th anniversary. They're like,
that game cheats.
I've had so many people like, how are you supposed to beat him? Like, how are you? I'm just like, you don't. It's basically Mike Tyson's Punch Out. You don't beat him by playing a fighting game. You're playing a video game at that point where you're just like jab a bunch to get him to jump. You know, yeah, exactly.
If you're Claw and you get to max range crouching medium punch or max range stand fierce punch, just press it and the CPU will walk into your button.
Right, because they don't recognize
Guaranteed.
that distance. Yeah. But here is the Neo Geo Mini here, a little tiny cabinet here that plays the full game on there. So you can play KOF 98, for example, here, all 4 buttons on there. So cool little thing there.
Yeah.
I don't even know if this counts as a fighting game anymore. I don't know if anyone even cares anymore. For Honor's getting a patch.
All right.
So expansion brings it with the Castle Sieges and a new faction, but I don't know if anybody cares anymore.
No, people are still playing that game. It's just not really in the FGC, but it still has a scene.
Okay. And then finally, last thing that I have here is that, yes, in 2 days at E3,
oh man,
Xavier Woods and Kenny Omega have challenged each other to a match. Apparently they're 1-1 against each other, so this is considered the rubber band match. And Kenny basically told Xavier Woods in that little promotional video that they sent out, like, he was just like, you know what, I'm going to beat you down, then I'm going to beat all your friends. And so Xavier Woods said, oh, really?
Okay.
So he's going to bring the rest of the New Day to play with him.
I wonder if one of those is actually a good player.
Oh, jeez. But then Kenny Omega, was kind of in a stuck situation. He didn't have any team, so he wasn't sure who to bring in there. And then he announced recently that he's going to bring the Young Bucks with him, the Jackson brothers, basically coming up there. Yeah. So that's going to take place on Thursday, actually, at E3. They're going to be playing this match out against each other on the Capcom Fighter stream.
Dang, who's commentating that?
So I don't know if we can talk about that yet.
It's not me.
Yeah,
that I can tell you for sure.
I mean, look, this is the Tuesday show. I don't think anyone's gonna find out and get
Curly
mad.
W was just spilling secrets in the chat anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be commentating with Yipes.
Okay.
So Yipes and I will be doing commentary for that on Thursday.
Sick.
So that should be a lot of fun.
Good.
So, there you go.
I don't think Kenny's even that bad, guys. Like,
he's legit.
He's actually a pretty good player, to be honest.
He's legit. I've actually sat down and played with him for a while, and he definitely knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So he definitely knows what he's doing. So yeah, Kenny could definitely beat a lot of people in the chat with Alex and with Abigail. He plays a lot of Abigail.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
So there you go. But that's going to be taking place again on Thursday at E3. Should be a lot of fun. If you guys are in the area, come by and say hi to all of us and stuff like that. Should be a lot of fun. I think it'll be an enjoyable experience. So there you go.
All right. It turns out that the Soul Calibur 6 Special Edition includes a Sophitia statue. I got those two words mixed up in my mouth. And an art book.
Oh, okay. Cool, nice. I'm obsessed with art books. I love video game art books. I have so many art, like those Udon art books and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things that I really like. So.
Anything else going on?
Nope. That's all I have. There you go. So
I went to the very first esports bar association conference yesterday. I didn't do any of the organizing of it, but a couple of my friends did because they're also esports lawyers, and it turned out really well. More people were there than we expected there to be. I thought all the talks went really well. And it's cool, man. There's we're starting to make it a little bit more professionalized, I guess.
I think I saw you retweet something. It was like, I guess last year there was like 4 people there, like in
this is the first one.
Oh, this is the first one? Oh, okay. I did not know. Okay.
Yeah. No, dude, we don't have the dash in the name. It's not E-S ports. Come on.
I know, right? Everybody who's in esports knows that it's clearly We're not even supposed to capitalize it most of the time, right?
It's just a normal noun.
It's just
esports.
Esports.
Yeah.
I wish they would at least just put 2 E's in the front, right?
E-sports.
So that it'd be like esports. So that
it's just not a great word.
It's just a terrible word.
I
still hate it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. The world that we live in mandates that we use that word. So, all right, but it kind of sucks.
Yeah, I heard something about that Sputnik. Like Watson tweeted, like the new games events aren't doing so well, so he's not going to bother with some of those now. He's just going to focus on a lot of the classic games. So it's tough. It's tough right now. So there's again so many games and so many events going on all the time, right? So. Hopefully, what name would I recommend for instead of esports? I already gave my answer a long time ago. I just wanted to make up a completely brand new word. And my word was strats. I just wanted to call them strats. I mean, in a way, it sounds like sports, so it's still kind of attached to that, but then it's based off of strategy. And then, what I was thinking was that if we called it strats, then it could also encompass Magic the Gathering if those communities would be okay with that. But, then we don't have to be like, oh, is Magic sports? Oh, is this sports? Is poker sports? Like, we could just put all these things under this different category.
Be nice.
That is emphasizing the mental aspects instead of the athletic aspect, right? It made sense to me.
It makes sense. Sure.
What strat do you play? Oh, I play football. I'm not football.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, actually, exactly like that. So.
I'd be fine with competitive gaming, but I think... what I primarily don't want is for it to be sports. As I've often said, I like playing video games, and I'm fine with it being video games. And
what's the first, Curly W? Oh, okay, shoutcasting. Yeah.
That's not a great word.
Yeah.
Not great.
It's basically taking someone yelling and putting wheels on him, and then.
Yeah. So part of why I don't want it to be sports is not just that I think it's like weird and self-denying. It's legally. I feel like that. I mean, there's more regulation of sports as sports than there are other things as competition. So I'd rather avoid some of those regulations if I can. I'm not at all against regulations in a general sense, but I don't think
you don't want to base them off of a pre-existing sports paradigm.
I kind of don't want to shoehorn it into, for example, like NCAA or college esports or college sports. Having some absurd amateurism system, why?
Right.
It doesn't need to be that way. Like, that's a new thing. Let's make it new. It doesn't need to be. And
right, Boken? Dude, I have that same problem. People ask me, what do you do?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dude, literally in a restaurant, someone was just asking me what I do, and I was like, I work in esports.
I guess that's what you got to say.
Sometimes I just say I'm in broadcasting just to make it
that also seems easier.
So, yeah.
One example of regulation is Title IX, which requires that any educational setting that receives federal funds, there has to be sort of some level of parity between men and women in terms of how well that money gets spent.
Okay.
How that money gets spent. And that's true for every educational setting. So if there's like a college esports club, even if it's not considered sports at all, it still is part of the calculus. But sports have their own set of law that has been developed over the last 30, 40 years, I guess. And there's there's a lot of regulation as to whether something satisfies the requirements of Title IX. So if esports is sports, and there's a new esports team, and there's on a campus, and it's all dudes, which it's probably going to be because that's how it goes, unfortunately. Despite the fact that plenty of women play competitive games, that's how teams tend to be. You have to deal with that by creating a women's team or by removing a male sport. Maybe you get rid of volleyball because you have the esports team, which is primarily men. So there's just, but that wouldn't even be an issue if it was not sports.
Right.
It would still, like I said, it would still figure into how money is being spent and stuff. It's not
in its own way, though.
In its own way. So it wouldn't come in the same way. I mean, the obviously underlying issue is that we need to figure out how to make it so that women are more comfortable playing
competitively in tournaments. That's like the underlying part, of course. But I feel like the regulation is not something that needs to be there unless we call it sports, which people are doing.
Right. Exactly. You kind of accidentally shoehorn it into
it just doesn't need to be there.
And that's always the complaint. So
get rid of wrestling. I don't know. The point is that you have to, if you're going to abide by the law, then you have to get rid of something else to balance it out, or add. Maybe you spend even more money and you add a new women's program. So,
well,
it doesn't need to be like that. Anyway, but it's very, very important, I think, to have a bar association where we can help not just legal folks talk about it, but a lot of the people who were there were other people who were just. I bring out the college one example because I was moderating the college esports panel, and people involved there were like from the NAIA, which is basically NCAA for smaller schools, and people trying to start up college things. So there were other people there who weren't just lawyers. So it's important for there to be a situation where people starting things or working in esports can talk with lawyers about it, and vice versa. That just is like an important thing to have. And it'd be nice to have maybe like an academic journal or something like that we end up doing. Well, like it's common it's common for other associations to have a magazine that they publish or an academic journal that they publish.
Okay.
So that's common in legal associations.
So that'd be kind of cool.
I think that'd be super cool.
For esports?
Yeah. I think it's a good idea. So we'll see how it goes, but it just started. All right, I guess that's all I got to talk about.
Yep.
I got an 80% win rate in BlazBlue cross tag battle.
Good stuff.
And I am 0-2 on ranked.
Oh, okay. You've just been mostly been just
playing casual because I went on ranked once and I played one dude and he had a bad connection and there were like 10 people in the room and I was like, everybody had 1 bar connection.
Oh Jesus!
And I was just like, I'm not going to be back here.
Okay. Yep, but again,
it's a fun game. I love it.
E3 is still going to be going on for the next couple of days. Obviously, it's probably not going to be any crazy new announcements coming up in the next couple of days, but I've been tweeting and posting on my Instagram a bunch of pictures and stuff like that. I have footage of me playing Mega Man 11.
Oh, cool.
On there. I have footage of Yipes and Combo Fiend playing Street Fighter Nakali versus Cody on my Twitter right now and stuff like that. So you can check out twitter.com/jchensor and Instagram.com/jchensor.
All right.
They're basically mirroring each other, so whatever I post on one is the other one, so there you go. So, do I have nudes on my Instagram? You're going to have to follow me to find out.
Do your cats have clothes on?
Actually, they don't.
Ooh.
So I have nudes on there.
All right.
Yeah, cat nudes. There you go. So.
All right.
Okay. There is a lot of cats on my Instagram as well, so just letting you guys know. So.
I would personally say that BB Tag Online is better than I thought it would be. It is not great, but it's better than I thought it would be. I was just playing against Callisto the other day. He lives in Chicago. We're in Los Angeles.
He was actually telling me about this.
It went better than I thought it would. There were some matches in there at the end that got bad, but for a while we were playing on 2-bar connection, and it seemed pretty fine, to be honest.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've heard both ways. Again, same thing.
Yeah.
Both ways.
I mean, it's not fantastic, of course.
Right.
But it's pretty good.
I mean, netcode is like the great mystery. If you develop the game in Japan, like it's just not going to work in the U.S. You know, it's just the way it works. It's really unfortunate. So
I've just been playing on PS4. I played on Switch one time and it was not good.
Okay.
But Switch people on Switch tend to play on Wi-Fi, so
right.
I think that's probably a big part of it.
Probably. So. All right.
Alrighty. I guess that's it for now. I will see you on next Tuesday, everybody. Does that sound right?
I think so.
Is that the day that we do the Tuesday shows on?
Yes.
Okay.
I couldn't remember that earlier today.
That actually is true.
Yeah, I was like, what day is it?
Yeah,
and you're
just
like,
before we started the Tuesday show.
You're like, come on, James. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
Dang.
Tuesday. But you'll be at E3 tomorrow?
I'll be at E3 tomorrow.
Okay, I'll see you there tomorrow then.
All right.
So, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. And again, if there's any weird 50-50 matchup topics you'd like us to talk about, please send them to us at UltraChenTV. And might as well tag at UltraDavid and at jchensor as well. So, all right. Yep, there is no miscellaneous category. Here, let me watch this. Ah, there we go. It was never there.
Okay.
It was never there. So, all right. Have a good night, guys. Peace out.
What?
Oh, wait. You're right. Shoot, I forgot again. That's my bad. That's my bad. Dude, this is what happens when you're senile, man.
What day is it?
Well, it's Wednesday for a lot of people right now, to be honest with you. You know what's really funny, actually, now that I look at it? The song that I play for the birds is called Summit.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it totally fits for this week's theme. So there you go. What the heck? Okay. Oh, dang. I have no more space on my phone. Delete some stuff.
I'm glad you found space for Summit. Wah, Luigi. Wah.
Wow!
Wah, everybody's so upset.
Wah, Luigi.
Wah, Luigi. Oh, my, he didn't show up again.
Wow!
Wah.
Wow, 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 wow.
People are crying. Come on. Stupid character.
You got Ridley.
Stupid character.